I was here the whole time.
And we're live.
All
Last
right.
we left off.
Here the whole time?
After losing a colleague, being digested to nothingness, you make your way back into Millardar, the city of Millardar, known as the Dwarven Stronghold, the gateway to the Whitestone Mountains, or the heart of the Whitestone Mountains, the headpiece of a massive empire that extends not just what's seen on the outside, but inside as well. Not many know how deep these caverns go outside of the actual dwarves themselves. Nevertheless, with the deep and the dark comes equally hideous, deep and dark creatures, some of which you've already met. Nevertheless, after a brisk hustle back into town, you're greeted with some shabby rations, a cotton hot, kind of situation. After refreshing yourself and waking up to the sounds of chaos, you make your way to the front of the gates, or the front gates of Mirladar, to which you all know the battle still ensuing. The front gate being completely beaten and battered and smashed by creatures of evil variety, undead, skeletons, zombies, a big giant that seems to have been decayed about a week or two. A fight ensues as the front door gets bashed down. A little of this, a couple of volley arrows, and a couple of piercing wounds, some soldiers falling off of the wall, succumbing to their wounds. You were able to subdue just enough, and as the rest of the undead army coming in, the Tomb Kings and the Vampire Counts coming in towards Milladar, this massive bright light, as if someone was shining a very bright flashlight in your face, giant flashlight in your face. The image of two angelic wings cresting around the outside of this bright blur in the middle of your face. You see these wings clap with this light beam that seems to disintegrate every single one of these undead creatures on sight, as the entire valley is now and ash and holy smoke begins to radiate. The area itself silent for just a moment. In the distance, behind this figure, you would see a vast amount of individuals garbed in blue and white metal armor, sporting icons that you would all recognize to be the Holy Empire. And that is kind of where we left off, as these angelic wings are now kind of re-expanding out in the open, and they slowly begin to kind of fizzle and suck in to this dwarf holding this mighty hammer and mighty shield. You see this dwarf stumble to a knee. The next thing you would see is individuals from behind him charging forward, one of which quickly kind of picks up this dwarven figure, once again wearing immaculate mirrored armor. A very silver shined mirrored armor seems to reflect light. Even at its range, it seems to reflect much of the sunlight, which happens to be in the process of coming back as the dark, overcast clouds begin to slowly shift away and dissipate into the sky. You all stand at the front gate, looking forward.
What did you say the dwarf's name was again? Was it Bale?
Anyone that would know... Sorry, I'm cracking my neck. Anyone that would know any kind of background to the Holy Empire, many of which would recognize Sir Bari when they see them.
Bari. Okay. Too many B names in this game. I get them confused. All right. Bari. Yeah, we just got done fighting everything. Is Reen still unconscious?
Nope, I'm up. 14 health.
Okay.
some dwarves from Mirladar begin to kind of come up behind you and begin to kind of final stabs, just verifying the kills that you guys have made, making sure it's free and clear, many of which are starting to quickly get to the door and start to prop the door up and begin kind of shouting to get some sort of supplies to repair the doors. You see soldiers returning to their stations, and in one mighty howl, you hear, "Huzzah! Huzzah!" as all the dwarves just roar this mighty huzzah. It echoes and vibrates even your bodies. That's how loud it is right now. You start to hear weapons being banged on stone and spears being kind of tapped on the ground. You see in the distance the other force, the Holy Empire's unit there, also cheering, which seems to echo and resonate with Mirladar.
I'm going to start making my way down from the wall to regroup with the rest of the party. And then, so like all those around me are like cheering and celebrating right now.
Everyone
right?
seems to be in a very good mood at the moment. Even the ones that have bandages over face and slinged arms, even the little kid who's holding a sword probably doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. He's, engaging in similar cheers.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh no, it's all right. Go ahead, Kane.
After, I think my last thing I did was pick up my sword. So I'm gonna go try and find my dagger that I threw at the thing and killed it.
Yeah, you absolutely take some time, about a minute, as
Yeah.
this giant is heavy and it's landed on top of your dagger. But as you kind of chip away at this creature and you put some shoulder into it, you start to, clear the way. In about 5 minutes, you'll find your dagger.
Okay. Sheath my weapons, and then I take a moment, put my back against the wall, and just kind of slide down to a sitting position.
You see Grognar make his way up to the door, and he starts picking up splinters from the door, and his hands begin to radiate a slight glow as he begins to mend some of the splinters and chunks from the door, trying to repair these massive wooden doors that have iron reinforcements.
As I'm going down, like making my way back down to the group, if I see any dwarves that like need help getting to like a casualty collection point, I'll try and help as many as I can.
Define casualty collection point?
Like, and if there's there's gonna be the wounded dwarves from the fight. If there's like a spot, like an aid station, like where like the medics would be at, where they'd be getting attention, like close to the front lines.
As you make your way down the steps, not only do you remember the barracks being turned in some sort of pseudo like medical tent or medical station, you would see some dwarves on stretchers as they're kind of pulling them back. It seems to be a non-military person or dwarf. They're not clad in the same armor as many of the dwarves on the front wall. These ones seem to be much lighter, maybe like a leather or whatnots. One of them, looks like a goat leather or something like that. They seem to be the ones that are in charge of escorting back and forth the wounded. One kid in particular, he's sitting on his ass with one knee in his hands. He's kind of like,
Okay, so they don't have anywhere closer than the barracks was my thing.
Correct. The barracks, although, you're right. The barracks aren't entirely close, but it's not undoable. It's not undoable. It's not unbearable. I don't know the word I want to use there. It's far, but it's not far enough to create a problem.
Okay. It's
I'm gonna
great what you're saying.
I'm gonna also start trying to help the wounded.
Yeah, once I
In
see
addition to also saying thank you to the Red Knight, and that's all I got.
Absolutely.
Yeah, once I see that like my party is okay, that's when I'm going to start trying to help the dwarves and stuff. And
Sure. You make it down to the stairs because remember you have that zigzag stair that goes all the way down. That's where you pass the child who's currently holding his knee. And this child, when I say child, I'm not talking infant. I'm talking, younger dwarf who's still he's full beard for his age, but he's still like, on his knee.
Isn't a young dwarf like 27? 28.
Sure.
Well, I'm honestly asking. I
Yeah.
honestly don't know.
I believe dwarves don't reach adulthood in their time frame till like 50-ish or something like that.
Okay. Seeing, I will take a knee and ask if he's all right, and check out his wound.
He looks up, and under his helmet visor, you can see his eyes. You see wetness, kind of as if he was crying and from the pain. That's the exact scene I was thinking of, Thalia.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. And I'll speak to him in Dwarvish to kind of help him feel better.
Absolutely. I think it's broken. In a young, gruff voice.
Let me take a look at it, and I'll check his leg.
As you kind of move his hands away, you see his hands are soaked in crimson.
All right.
He is wearing leg guards that would need to be removed to assess the issue.
All right. I'll remove those and then check out the wound and see if it's something that I need to like use a spell on, or if it's something I can bandage.
Medicine check. Let's see
Awesome.
how well you remove these leg guards without hurting this guy.
12.
With a 12. Yeah, absolutely. As you slowly and gingerly, occasionally it kind of, the kid's leg moves a little bit because it's, he's young, and fucking stupid. So, and you kind of, you hear something kind of go inside, like you hear hard something tapping on the inside metal of his leg guards. As you continue to slide, more blood begins to kind of be seen. His gambeson or his clothing underneath the armor completely soaked from middle of the thigh to upper shin area.
Did we establish if mending could fix bones?
We did establish, and the answer was no.
Gotcha. Okay.
Will cure wounds help with it though?
Cure wounds would stabilize in this. I would say the higher the healing spell, the more likely that it would magically mend. Cure wounds would be more of like a small gash perhaps, or at least a stabilization. Maybe the bleeding would stop. That's how I would flavor cure wounds in this situation.
Okay.
Nevertheless, as you
wounds?
pull the leg wound, as you pull the leg guard down, the cloth legging that he's wearing underneath, you see like a protrusion out of like the side of the knee.
Like bone or arrow?
With a 12 medicine check, it looks like his bone sticking out of the side of his knee.
Okay. That's gonna hurt. You're gonna have a hell of a scar. And fuck.
Dude, I'm sorry, but I'm like really like into this shit. I'm acting and shit right now. Let me take my shoes off.
Well, I'm having a thought. It's like Josh knows what to do, but I don't know if Asher would know what to do. So if someone else wants to do anything, then we'll circle back to me.
Sure. As you tend to our dear young dwarf, Thalia, you yourself would see one of the dwarfs literally just laying on their back, face up. There seems to be an arrow just over his left nipple area.
Right. I will also perform a medicine check here.
Absolutely. With a 15.
Oh, it did go. Okay.
You promptly grab this individual's hand and kind of lift it up a little bit to check on the wrist. At the same time, you feeling under the helmet. You kind of have to like slide your fingers under the entirety of this helmet. You don't feel any pulse. In fact, as you grab the wrist, the body seems to already be chilling a little bit.
No pulse. So he's dead.
You figured that out yourself, huh?
Well, then what? Okay, fine. He's dead.
Absolutely. He's fucking dead.
I can't fix that.
I'm aware of that.
Okay.
All right. So you're just gonna fuck him?
I'll kind of neaten up his body. I'll probably pull out the arrow.
You peel out the arrow with a nice thunk. As you look at the arrowhead, it's really misshapen. It's crude. It seems to be made of like a rusted iron. Can you answer this, please, sweetheart? I don't know who that is. It's like a rusted iron, almost like the tip of a fence. You know, the little fence post with the spikes on them.
Yeah.
It looks like it was refashioned into an arrowhead. The shaft is grimy, ashy, slimy, and the fletching is like surprised the arrow even flew. But it drips a little bit of the blood on some of his dwarven armor. And just give me 2 seconds, please. Who was that? You didn't take the overtime tomorrow, did you? Okay, cool. All right, sorry about that, guys. We're getting
No worries.
snow, and schools might be impacted.
Gotcha.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, so I took out the arrow. I'll take off his helmet. And kind of place that next to his head. Make sure his eyes are closed, and if he had a weapon nearby, I'll kind of set that over his chest and kind of have him holding it like that, or however.
Absolutely. When you take the helmet off, it's a nice snug fit, especially with all the hair, and the head kind of just bops back a little bit. You take the helmet off, and the helmet's beautiful. Like, although it's weathered, there's a little bit of blood on it, and it's grimy, it's still a dwarven helmet. It's got those the outward kind of squared off runic inscriptions. It's got a full-on chin piece that kind of stops where the beard is, His beard is kind of braided and tucked into his armor. The hair itself's got 2 rows of braids that seem to wrap around the back, and they each seem to wrap around his neck as well under the beard. His hair is black, some kind of gray strands in there as well. And as you prep him up, you place the helmet down, and his weapon is a runic sword, a dwarven sword, and you kind of place it over his chest. Nearby, there seems to be what looks like a cape that's been torn asunder.
Like it's torn off, or?
Basically, there's a fluttering piece of cloth not too far from you.
Is it distinctly his, or is it just hanging out?
It's just hanging out.
I guess I'll grab the cape.
Okay, you grab it up. It's covered in dirt and soot, but it flows in the breeze.
You can use it to cover the body.
Well, maybe he
that's
doesn't need.
what I was
I don't
going
think we
for.
need to see that. People are going to need to identify him before it needs to get covered up. So no.
Okay, fair enough. Do you toss the cloth back on the floor?
Yeah. No, it's not the capability, Ragnar.
Sure. You look at it, you discern not much of anything with this, and you just kind of flip it over your shoulder, and you continue to search for any kind of people that are in need of your assistance. Dillinger.
Yep.
What do you do?
Yeah. I guess he's going to kind of, 'cause he was up on the back, the back gate. I can't remember the fancy name.
You were
word
flying,
for it.
if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I had flown up to the back gate and was sitting up on top of that.
Okay.
So yeah, I guess I'll glide down to the party where that was in melee with the giant. Just kind of
Yep. Your wings catch the slight breeze, and it kind of makes you fly down slowly.
Yeah.
You actually land right next to Thalia. As you kind of plop down, you see Thalia just kind of holding this cloak and throwing it over her shoulder as you kind of plop down within her vicinity.
Yeah. I guess, yeah, Dillinger kind of turned to Thalia. It's like, glad to see us still breathing. You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Did you know the poor lad?
No, but loss of life is never comfortable. It's necessary, but never comfortable.
Hey, Unfortunately, it is. He'll kind of nod and kind of, I guess, go to check on Reen and Kane as he saw them up. Like Reen get knocked out or Reen hit the ground at some point, and then Kane going freaking Attack on Titan down the freaking giant. He's gonna kind of go like not. He'll, I guess, kind of nod at Thalia as he kind of walks away towards them to check and see, make sure how they're doing.
Sure, you look around. You see Thalia doing Thalia stuff. You would see Grognar at the front gate, still attempting to kind of put splinters back into the door. Kane's in the process of like lifting like the arm of this creature that he fucking cliffhangered. You would look also to your forward and right slightly to where you see Reen. Reen, what are you doing as you stand up after battle?
Reen is holding the side of his body, his mid stomach area on his right side, and he's kind of just waddling around, like just taking it all in, seeing what happened out at the battlefield.
Awesome. You would clear look around. At this point, you see a horde of individuals in blue and white and silver armor and variety of different patterning, but all unified under one color, one banner, one crest. You recognize this crest once again to be a crest of the Holy Empire. Give me a perception check, please, Reen. That's whispered to me. Why don't you roll another one and don't unwhisper it so everyone else can see.
Oops, one second.
With a 21, you squint because in this ocean of blue there seems to be a color that stands out as far as uniforms are concerned. Like one of these things are not like the other. There seems to be on the right hand side of this ocean of people coming in a green and gold trim. As you squint further, there appears to be a recognizable crest to you. And it is the crest of King Oron, who you know to be the king of the elves.
Huh, interesting. How far away is that from Arena right now?
I mean, they're still out in the field, a couple 100 feet as they're coming close. I mean, they seem to be on path to coming towards Milidar. But, we're still taking that post-battle scenario here. But yes, they seem to be on their pathway in. And once again, and we're just talking of like a small sect, you know what I mean? Like, let's say for every 1,000 troops from the Holy Empire, you might see one of these green tabards.
Sweet. Well, I'm gonna chill and wait for him to come here. So I'm gonna see what the rest of the boys are doing.
You look around and everything that's happening is as we explained, which takes us back now to Asher as this kid is make it stop.
Well, this is gonna hurt like a bitch, but I saw one of the medics I used to fight with do this. And Asher's gonna take 2 arrows, and he's gonna hold the shaft out from one of them to the kid. Bite this. It's gonna hurt. And I'm gonna have him put it in his mouth. And then I'm gonna take the other arrow and break the tip off of it. Pull at one of the daggers from my boot, cut his pant legs off for one pant leg, and I'm gonna make a tourniquet above that busted ass knee to stop the bleeding.
Okay, that is not where I thought that was going.
No, that's awesome.
The bone's sticking out. He's not gonna splint that shit. He's gonna put a tourniquet on it and carry the little bastard.
So what I'd like you to do is make me a persuasion check for flavor. I want to see something.
All right.
Yeah, I thought you were going to like grab his like lower leg and just like yank.
I thought he was gonna pop it back in too.
Yeah, that's why I was like saying like, oh fuck?
I
So
rolled a
you're
one.
the kid is putting two and two together. Although he's not a medic, it's clear what your intentions are. And although he does believe you to be in assistance, he's naturally going to be fearful. And he's going to be like, no, 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 no. As you begin to, you basically put the arrow in his mouth. And you say, bite it. And as he's biting, no, 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 and you start raking it. No, this kid makes a Constitution saving throw and passes out.
Yeah, I figured he was gonna pass out, but I'm gonna torque that fucking tourniquet down until I see blood stop bleeding.
Absolutely. And why don't we
Let's
roll
stop
me a
The fucking leg.
let me roll me another medicine check with advantage this time around, as the tourniquet is absolutely helping you here. As this kid is fucking. His armor just clank against the ground. A 12 is enough to stop the bleeding. It's not perfect, but you know what? You're not the medic here. It's definitely enough. You start waving some people down in one of those handheld stretchers. Start making their way to dwarves. And they start like putting them on. They kind of thank you passively in their guttural kind of dwarven-esque voices. Oh, thank you, and they kind of place them on. And they begin to carry him.
Take my arrow back before he runs away from his mouth.
As the stretcher's going, you realize, arrow! Whoa, 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 and you take the arrow.
Well, just from the one that was in his mouth that would like fell out when we went unconscious.
Absolutely.
But yeah, well, I did not. That should help. Oh, he's gonna lose that fucking leg. I'm saying to myself as I'm walking back to the rest of my group.
You walk back to the group as everyone seems to be predominantly in this this little holding. So, what's the official word of that spot behind the gate? That kill zone.
Portcullis?
Kill box.
It is a kill zone.
Is there a name
or
for
it could be called a Bailey. It could be called a Bailey.
A Bailey.
Usually Baileys are a little bigger and have buildings in them, but
whatever. Let's call it a fucking Bailey. It is what it is. We'll call it a Bailey. A Bailey light. So as you guys enter the Bailey light. As Asher,
a really good beer name, by the way.
As you enter the Bailey light, Asher, you would see all of your cohorts doing everything that we explained previous. Is at that point, as you make your way around the back of the Bailey through the entrance of the Bailey from the Millardar side, and then you start walking into the Bailey light. Not only do you see everything that we discussed, I mean, there's still a hustle and bustle here. There's many soldiers that are just coming down from their victory cheer, and then they're starting to kind of get everything together and kind of attending to people who need to be tended to. You hear a sergeant from up top giving orders and commands to do this and that, and go grab this, and quickly grab the ammo in case there's a secondary attack, or blah 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 blah, anything to prep for the potential next wave or whatever. You would also see at this point a ocean of blue and a little bit of green. One mirrored dwarf arm over, kind of using one leg to walk with, as the individual that's carrying him is a bit taller, so he can't really walk with his right leg. He's kind of using his left leg to kind of help out. The individual that's carrying this dwarf Sir Bari, or at least helping Sir Bari, is clad differently than everyone else. Seems to be maybe a lieutenant or of some sort. And they're about 50 feet away from the main gates at this point.
You were cutting in and out really bad. Was anyone else having frog cut out on them, or was it just me?
Same. I didn't want to interrupt in case someone else, it was just me.
Okay.
Yeah. No, it was me too.
Well, shit. So I will give you the abridged version. Armies coming closer.
You were talking about.
Look, we're trying to be polite in case.
Well, I will tell you what. I would rather you interrupt me and say "can't hear you," versus having me finish this long string, because then I won't be able to remember.
Well, I was able to hear everything up until you started talking about Bari getting carried and the guy helping him.
Yeah, basically, he seems to be carried by some sort of a lieutenant type.
Okay. Yeah, that was the only part that fucked up for me.
That's fine. Make way for Make way for Sir Bari! Make way for Sir Bari!
I'm just gonna be up against a wall, I guess, with my friends.
All right, Asher takes a low profile on the wall. Anyone else?
I'm gonna be doing the same thing. Reen's gonna do the same thing.
I'll take a step to the side.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, I'm not gonna stand in the guy's way.
What about you, Grognar? He's probably indisposed.
Grognar is still fixing the gate until he sees the dwarves kind of like stop.
Well, they're not stopping. The command of "Make way for Sir Bari" seems to resonate down this Bailey light.
Oh, so I should stop because Bari's on his way. Okay, yeah, I move out of the way then.
Good drop.
Absolutely. Reen said
Actually, wait a minute.
Oh, go ahead.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't know what being titled Sir means.
Asher yells at Grognar to get the hell over here and points by his side.
Grognar nods his head and starts walking over. They're kind of like, I mean, I don't know why, but okay, fine then, skinny man.
Due to the not understanding the title system as far as the Holy Empire, which is completely valid, not understanding what that means or even who Sir Bari might be or what he represents, at the last moment, Asher would shout to you, well, you move aside, move out of the way, or something to that effect. Just in time for a couple of soldiers to basically not shoulder bash you, but they do that, I'm coming through kind of walking, and they kind of shoulder nudge you a little bit, which kind of reinforces you against the wall just slightly as they continue to walk past. These soldiers are like 5 by 5, 5 wide, and they seem to be in a very much a uniformed marching pattern, with Sir Bari being kind of helped out. As Sir Bari walks by, religion check from Thalia, please.
Religion check. Also, I looked it up, and the proper name for that thing, there is no English word for it, but it is called a Zwinger in German.
A Zwinger. Okay.
Yes.
The more you know. I like it.
The more you know.
Sounds really close to sphincter.
So
the appropriate name for your butthole.
The Zwinger. Can you write that in general chat for me with the spelling?
Yeah.
Thank you. So,
and I have a 12.
You have a 12. As Sir Bari walks past you, you feel as if a magnet for your soul is walking past you. You know what I mean? Like this connection, like two magnets passing by each other that attract. You feel almost like this presence that's just kind of pulling you closer. And then as he goes further, the bond isn't there.
Does he seem to notice that? Or is it just on my end?
You feel this. This is not something that manifests physically.
Oh, okay.
This is how you're
Well,
feeling.
yeah, I got that. But does he like notice it as well?
I mean, you're welcome to make a perception check to see if you happen to catch a glimpse of Sir Bari. With a 12, with his armor, with all the troops around, the only thing you could really see on Sir Bari would be his nose and the bottom.
You're cutting out a lot, Frog. I can't hear you.
Same.
Let me see.
It's like your microphone's underwater.
Yeah.
Really?
Yep, you're good.
Hold, please.
Back to normal now.
Are your kids downloading stuff again?
Yeah, so I'm going to be buying a desktop mic, much like Kane has, next week.
Yeah.
So it should help out with the audio quality. So sorry about that. Yeah, but please keep on telling me whenever it cuts out. Just say, yo, cutting out, and I'll just pause and wait for the ping to happen. The only thing you would see as Sir Bari walks past with that perception of 12, you only really see the side of his face a little bit. He is being kind of dragged around, and there's soldiers all around him and whatnot, so it's difficult to really catch anything that he's feeling or any kind of movements or tells. Unfortunately, nothing that you would recognize as, whether or not he feels it all the time or not at all. It seems like he's just tired, exhausted even.
Okay.
So we're shipping Sir Bari and Thalia now.
Okay. I'm not going to act on it right now, but maybe later.
Okay. Kane.
Yes. I'm sorry.
You're standing alongside the wall, or the Zwinger, the Bailey Light Zwinger.
Huh.
You know, and you just see these soldiers walking by you, and it's literally like never ending. And you kind of like just watch him go by. The one real thing that you would notice out of all of this, they're short, they're tall, they're thick, they're thin. Some of them are halflings, some of them are gnomes, some of them are humans, some of them are elves. It seems to be a mighty combination of what we call in Tal Rune the allied races. Some of them actually look at you as the ear that's cut off is the one that's kind of facing them as they're walking in. And they kind of just, as they're marching, they just kind of get eyes and they snap their heads forward and continue to march.
I imagine we all look pretty rough.
Well, I'm pretty sure Kane looked especially rough.
Yeah.
That-
We still got all the
random tiefling.
yeah. We still got all
Clearly,
the rest from the
how long
top.
has it in game time? How long has it been? It's only been a few days since he literally had that ear cut off.
Yeah, it should
No,
still
it's
be pretty
been-
fresh.
It's been about 2 weeks.
Yeah, because it took you guys like a week and change just to get to Mirladar on foot. You guys
Can
were,
change.
yeah, we can change.
So-
All I'm hearing is that's still like either a fresh scar or or the scab's still there.
I'm willing to say roughly, and this is without me going back and detailing everything, between 10 to 14, maybe even 16 days since your ear got cut off.
Yeah. I know we did do some healing magic on it to help it.
Yeah, it would at its best. It's probably scarred over, not scarred. It's kind of
Yeah.
like scabbed over and turning
Yeah.
into that, that hard scar, that ugly scar.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's been the image in my head for a while now. That's where it's at.
Yeah.
Because Kane doesn't pick at it.
Frog, I threw a definition in general with it as well.
I
just
saw
for
it.
you.
Yeah, I had
And
it
then-
linked to my tabletop.
All right, and then Asher, you should probably check on the cat.
Yeah, my plan was once we got out of like this combat zone, because I don't have any food on it, but yeah, I'm gonna check on the cat.
Has the cat
Okay.
still been in your fucking pocket again?
Yeah,
During
It's
combat?
not in my pocket. It's in a sash carrier thing, and when we
it's
go
pocket
into
cat.
combat, I put it behind me.
It's all good.
Pocket cat.
I've been keeping it into
So
consider-
it's in
actually,
a purse.
I actually have a note literally says
Satchel.
cat. So anyway, but yeah, so that Kane. So you would see these soldiers kind of, marching by. I don't know if you wish to act on that or do anything. Feel free to let me know.
I mean, I don't know exactly what I'd say. Just kind of just look at them as they walk by.
Absolutely.
Kane's tired. He jumped off a wall onto a giant, killed it, caused it to fall and hit another thing, then got up, threw his dagger at another thing, killed it, and then eventually went and picked up his sword.
Amazing. Reen.
Reed's headed back and
Well, hold on. As you're kind of you're against the wall as well, right?
yeah, just lean back, Sean.
After about 30 seconds to a minute is when you see the small group of green and gold, green tabards, gold trim on their armor, begin to kind of march by you.
So, does Reen actually know any of these people, or has he just heard of them?
When was the last time you read your backstory?
I've always read it, but I never mentioned anything about a king, dude. So I don't know about that. Unless you changed it.
Oh, well.
In all fairness, we don't really know colors associated with, or colors or heraldry of any kind associated
Yeah.
with any
Correct.
factions, really.
However, Reen has kind of foxed with a bunch of elves before he met you guys. And he would have a general knowledge. He would know that these colors and crest on the tabard would be associated with King Oron, who's known to be in the western elven lands, out in the woods.
So Reen's just gonna interrupt. He's like, "So how would you even create a king? Reen would. Oh God.
Well, you don't see the king here. You see the crest of the king, and the armor that's recognizable.
Did you say greet a king out loud, or is that in your head?
I'm sorry?
I'm standing next to Reen, so I'm asking him, did he say greet a king out loud or in his head?
Oh, no, I'm talking to myself right now, not in game. Sorry.
Oh, okay. So it's all internal monologue.
Yes. So Reen's going to hail over to the soldiers and see if he can get one of them to come over and talk.
As you hail to them in their native elven greeting, their heads almost simultaneously, almost as if it was synchronized, they all turn their head left, quick, snap, and they look at you and they continue to march, and then they snap their heads back and continue to march forward.
So, do I see,
Ready, you too.
see Reen doing this, right?
I'm sorry, Asher?
I said I see Reen doing this, right, since I'm beside him?
That's fine, yeah.
Reen, what are you doing? It's an interesting wave. And it got their attention.
I was hoping I knew one of them, but apparently I don't.
Care to... How do you know elves?
Well, I kind of...
Those elves, like... They look like, some higher class people than you would hang out with, since you shit in the middle of streets.
Sure, but I did tour a lot of the areas in the Elven Lands, fighting in pits for them for entertainment, so I was hoping to get some better armor or a sword. But still have to wait.
Hold on a second, Reen. We need to talk about some of this. That's a whole lot of, backstory all at once, buddy. You used to fight for the elves? Or fight as like a gladiator to entertain them?
I was a prize fighter.
Okay,
Since
so
I was 16 years old.
So you were a fancy gladiator.
Yep.
Okay. Do you have any elves that owe you money? Because now would be the time to call in some favors.
Unfortunately, they're all dead, so no.
Well, shit. Friends of yours that are dead, or just benefactors? Like, how sad do I need to be that they're dead?
Well, I killed them, so you shouldn't be too sad about it.
Oh, okay. So, y'all would fight to the death?
Yep.
I've seen some fighting before, but it was never to the death whenever it was like that stuff. It was usually, first blood or something.
Nope, these fights were outside the known worlds, on the edges of the lands.
So you did some... Well, we've both fought for money before, and killed for money. I was a mercenary. So. Well, that's interesting. Explains a lot, honestly.
It does. Let's go get some food.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Let's go. Let's regroup back at the barracks. Because we're still supposed to be meeting with a prince. Because we have a meeting booked with him.
Yeah, we want to get paid for doing this too.
Because of our old friend Lieutenant. As I look through my notes for his name.
Lieutenant, as I look through my notes for his name, sounds like an interesting person.
Lieutenant Telchund. And then
I have it written down.
We're supposed to be hunting this drow. I have lioness, but I don't think that's right.
I think it was Leonis.
Leonis, yeah, okay. That I wasn't pronouncing it right.
Hey, Frog, I'm having some issues with my headset. I'll be unresponsive for a few.
That's fine. Do what you gotta do.
So,
as you continue to wait, it's maybe about a good 10 to even 15 minutes of time for all these soldiers to march past you. Many of them, as they get further in the back, you see a lot of them that seems to be a little bit more staggered. They seem to sport injuries. perhaps individuals that have received wounds and have been cared for already that were kind of taking up the back lines
Now.
as they make their way through. And as the last soldier makes his way past the zig, what'd you fuck you call the thing again? Whatever, the Bailey light.
Svinger.
Svinger, thank you.
Svinger.
The Bailey light is now predominantly empty as the last remaining dwarves that are dead are now being stretchered out and taken into the city, leaving you guys empty. As Grognar's spell finishes, much of the door that's been busted open seems to be splintered repair over the course of this time, and the doors begin to get pushed shut by two soldier dwarves. And as the doors collide together, the vibrations, the heaviness of the door can be felt. Gentlemen, the city is yours.
Well, Asher, I think the siege has been broken.
Yep.
Figured that all out on your own, did you?
I think it's kind of obvious when the fucking angel wings opened up the sun and made
Praise
skeletons.
the sun!
Yeah. Made skeletons turn into ash. It would have been really cool if you got here like 30 seconds earlier, but hey. I'm saying this very quietly to Kane. Like, once the soldiers are gone.
Nah, he was being cool. He was letting us get our kills in, and then he came in and wept.
Yeah, but we've got a lot of kills in.
He didn't steal any kills. It's all
He
good.
only secured them.
He was being respectful.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not gonna look a gift horse in the mouth, but
You're about to.
yeah. I still think we need to go have a chat with this prince, though.
Okay.
Because he kind of sent us on a suicide mission with very little information. And we've done a lot of stuff. And we need some coinage. And we have a hag to kill.
Yeah. Gonna kill her.
Mm-hmm.
You guys begin to make your way. Actually, before we go in there, Dillinger, it's been a second since I heard from you. So the soldiers have kind of, dissipated into town. They all seem to be heading, and once again, they're in very much 5x5 marching formation, very organized. They seem to be on their way to to Castle Zuri, right down the main road.
Okay. Yeah, Dillinger's going to kind of turn and look for the group and kind of walk over to regroup with everyone else after they all pass by.
All right.
And all stuff. Yeah.
All right, then. You guys making your way back in town. Once again, as you kind of walk past the secondary gates of this Zimmer, you see thank you. You see, once again, these soldiers are restocking, filling up barrels with arrows, collecting material, weaponry that's lying on the floor from the dead or whatnot. And as that goes on, you continue to push further into town, and you start seeing, civilians, the townsfolk, many female and younger folk out in the street, and they seem to just be talking about it. There seems to be a lot of, hey, did you see that? Hey, we're saved, and that general kind of conversation.
Backpedal just a second. You said they were bringing out barrels full of arrows to refill, like, quivers and stuff?
Yeah, like all the arrows that are scattered about, they're collecting them and basically putting them in barrels.
Oh, okay. I thought they were, like, bringing out resupply of arrows.
Negative. No, they seem to be collecting.
Okay, never mind. As we are making our way back, I do want to kind of, fall back to where Dillinger is and speak with him for a moment.
Absolutely.
What's up, Dillinger, right?
Hey! Yeah, at your service, good sir.
So I'm not an idiot anymore. So are you just
Never
like
made scene.
attaching yourself to our group now? I mean, don't get me wrong. You can handle yourself in combat, but
Well, I was at least going to see if you guys needed a person or two. As the job I was hired with here is done, and truthfully, at the time I just didn't want to go through the fucking undead, flying or not.
that's fair. What have you got to offer? Like, what do you bring to this party?
Well,
Weird.
I have been known to have a little bit of a, as they say, a silver tongue at times, as well as not to brag too much, as he kind of like straightens up and kind of like and all stuff like a little like that pompous pride and all stuff. It's like I am known to make a damn good map every now and then.
A map could be very useful.
Yeah, and pen in hand, kind of just sits there, does like the little flick and catch with it, as like the little inkling kind of pops up a little bit wrapped around it.
Asher cringes a little and points at it. Does that fucking thing have a name?
Ah, yes. Her name's Tinte.
Tinte?
Tinte.
Tinte. It sounds like titty. Tinte. Got it. Inky thing. Yeah. Sorry, we fought this Jello cube thing that ate our friend, and so anything slimy, it fucks with me.
I understand, but you don't have to worry anything about her. The most you get is if she's in a pissy mood for some reason, is you just get a little bit of an ink splotch on your clothes. That's about it.
All right.
And as he kind of says this, she just kind of like goes over and kind of like curls around on her shoulder or whatnot, and just kind of sits there.
So, touch it. Like, is it squishy or does it have like?
He literally just kind of sits like she, as you say that, just kind of like floats over towards you and all stuff, and just does like that little circle around you.
Asher
like,
very slowly reaches out a finger and like boops it on like what he thinks would be the top of the head.
When you do it, it literally just like it looks like, and even when you pull your hand back or your finger back, like you just dipped your finger in ink. Nothing else.
Okay, so it's like a ball of ink. Okay, so there's like ink on my finger now.
Yes, yeah. You literally, so out of character, it's literally just a thing of ink that was infused with magic and is given like magical life to a certain extent.
All right, Asher's gonna look at the ink on his finger, wipe it on your shoulder. All right, fair enough. And
he kind of looks at it and just like kind of
it's your pet.
That's gonna take. Yeah, he doesn't say anything. He just kind of looks at it. It's like, and then just kind of sits there, pulls up like a little rag, and kind of like dabs a rag on the shoulder, trying to get it off. That's about it. It's like he's not upset about it. He's used to having this type of issue.
I imagine it's a well-stained handkerchief.
Yeah, and kind of that whole thing. And so he's like kind of sitting there trying to get what he can off.
Yeah. Well, Asher's gonna just kind of chuckle at that and offer out his hand to you and say, "Well, Dillinger, can't ever hurt to have someone else with us," and offer you a handshake. And apologize for almost punching you when he first saw you.
I deserve that one. And as he kind of like does like the handshake back with you and all stuff.
So, all right, back to the rest of the group.
Absolutely. The deeper you go into town, as you guys are kind of conversing, I'm going to assume in the tail end, you guys are still walking, pretty much in the direction of Castle Zuri, down off the main street. And as windows kind of open up and the fires or torches begin to be relit, the town begins to feel, for the first time in a long time, positive vibes in the area. You start to hear minstrels echoing in the distance. Unable to really, this is all made of stone. The whole city is basically cut directly through this mountain. So it kind of just resonates and just echoes through, making it difficult to pinpoint where this minstrel's playing or minstrels are playing.
Frog, you're cutting out there for a little bit.
Yeah, as Gary mentioned, you're starting to.
I could still hear him. He was talking about minstrels playing and how it was echoing through the stone city.
Absolutely. You can't really identify specifically where, but the air is starting to fill slowly, gradually with more and more music.
Would you give us a rendition of what this music sounds like, sir?
Sure.
What line would pair with it?
Why don't you just pulls out his fucking lute and just starts going at it?
Not a lute.
I'm a trombone player.
Hey! I actually have a lute, thank you very much.
A lute?
Yes, I actually have one.
Let me see.
I'm in my truck.
You said you had one.
You don't just keep it with you?
Rephrase. I own a lute, and unfortunately, I don't want my loot to get damaged, and in this truck, going over rough areas
has nothing to do with the game. So as we continue to push through town, and apparently the song stopped playing. 1 second. See, this is what I need my assistant DM for, to do all this little shit. Recent events, we've removed YouTube. Mother bastard. I'm sorry, guys.
Discord is just like, nah, you ain't ever gonna have music on your D&D tables. I can do some Tibetan throat singing.
I was going to say, I think if you set up a Spotify playlist of stuff,
it's already a Spotify playlist.
Okay.
That's what I use for hydrate. I got that. We're good. Anyway, so as we continue to push further into town, now you start to see Holy Empire soldiers mingling in with Mirladar soldiers. Mirladar soldiers sporting their crest, which is really earthy in color, browns, gold trims, and some inlays of silver, reflecting Miladar's exports and what they're known for. They would use those in conjunction with their sigils and their crest, their emblem, their colors. And they're mingling together. And as you continue to go down, the sides of the streets are just covered in soldiers, and they're chatting. Some of them are sitting down. You see a few kind of hurled up in little 5-man circles as you hear them chatting about the day, the battle, telling stories, like, oh man, I thought I was a goner. You overhear some random chit chat. The closer you get to Castle Zuri, it's at that area where the mass amount of individuals seem to be gathered at the front gate. Just to your left, the barracks from earlier, which also seems to be pretty crowded and pretty cluttered. You can't...
Can I...
Go ahead.
Sorry. I just want to get the idea here. Are we planning on, talking to the prince and then heading right out, or are we going to try to, fully rest up and, completely recover?
Yeah, that's something I was going to talk, once we got back to the barracks to talk about. I was thinking we could go talk to the prince, figure out what in the fuck's going on, see if we can get some money or something, and go and have a shopping day and get all kinds of shit that we need and rest up, and then go either back into the Underdark if there's still more shit we need to do in there, or we go hunt a hag.
Well, we also need to go back to Beaten.
Yeah.
Too. So, what's our...
The Beaten.
Are we planning on spending a week to get the full rest, or?
I thought it was just 24 hours to get the full rest.
24 to a full week.
Oh, okay.
I'm looking at the rules right now. Right there on the board.
Alright. I'm not sure if we'd spend a full week here, but probably a day or something. like at least 24, 48 hours.
Okay.
That's just what I was thinking, unless someone else has another idea. Because that's what I was going to bring up to the
I
group.
think it sounds good, unless we got to go back, into the cave for like a better reward or something. So
Yeah, unless like
that could
something
change
makes us
something.
So,
have to go back immediately.
out of character and all stuff, since Dillinger hasn't been around any of this, it's choose what y'all want to do, as Dillinger's new to the party, so he has no vote on this one. And I'll say that out of character.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I like the idea of going to the prince. I just wanted to kind of figure out what the plan was,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
gauging it.
So when you get close enough, you can just see. All right, so you have the wall. All right, that surrounds Castle Zuri, like a garrison or whatever that wall is. Fucking wall. From your spot, you could see the top half of Castle Zuri, and on the balcony of Castle Zuri, near the top floors of Castle Zuri, you would be able to spot a small figure of a dwarf standing. Next to him is this large, like off the balcony, carved out of stone, is like a large horn. And it's at that point that you start hearing Milidarians. I just made that up. Milidarians start to hush everybody, hush everybody. As the town becomes significantly more silent, you would now hear, "We have survived this attack," a guttural dwarven voice that you recognize. The dwarf voice of the prince. "You have survived bravely, and your bravery shall be rewarded. May you all sleep, bellies full, brains foggy. May the ale flow. May the rum be drank. May the Luckstrom wine wells run dry. Tonight, we festive, we party. Party as if there is no tomorrow, for when tomorrow rises, we go back to strengthening our walls, resupplying our homes, open our minds, and may our trade commence even stronger. Milidar will see greatness again. You may, 24 hours, be free." And he starts honking the horn. And instantly the minstrels spark back up. Fucking doing their thing. You see everyone in town that's near you and even echoing through the rest of the town. The soldiers begin to cheer. You see individuals tossing helmets in the air. Confetti starts to fucking fall.
I love how Melodar just has a prominent party horn.
Well, see, you considered it a party horn. I was thinking like, oh shit, the purge.
That's their national alert system. It's also how they alert for earthquakes, tornadoes, blizzards, inclement weather.
Dragons.
Pissed off dragons.
Yeah, dragon.
Yeah, what happened with the fucking dragon?
Nevertheless,
Oh, I have another question because the dragon made me think of it. That giant that we killed, that we fought, did it happen to look like one of the giants we saw on the mountain?
No.
No. Okay.
No.
Because I know the giants we saw on the mountains, you said were like massive, even for giants.
They were more green skin in appearance, you would remember.
I think they were ogres.
More ogres than giants. They are giant kind, but they're kind of a subsect of giants.
Because I know you told us out of character what type of giants they were. I just can't remember what.
All right, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go to the figure out what the fuck we're
Let's
doing.
go talk to a prince.
Yeah.
As we're walking,
Can we even talk to the prince? That's what I'm worried about.
That's what I was going to say. As we go to walk in, is there like a check-in post or something?
Well,
Receptionist.
As you make your way
there a
to
secretary?
as you make your way to the front doors, and the doors of Castle Zuri, they're kind of only semi-cracked open, enough to let a small stream of people come in. There are guards on the other side, and as you get ready to walk in, the two guards kind of move their glaives. They kind of crisscross, and they kind of ask you in their typical dwarven fashion, state your business.
We had a meeting arranged by Lieutenant Telchund to speak with the prince. We were charged with going in and clearing out some drow that y'all had in your mines. And we came back just in time to rest up and help fight at the front gate. And now we're just trying to speak with the prince to see if there's more that needs to be done or if we fulfilled our side of the bargain.
What was the names of your meeting?
We don't have like a group name, but Lieutenant Telchund set up the meeting yesterday.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. We were ordered to let you in. There's one complication. Currently, the prince is speaking with Sir Bari, and it seems to be fairly urgent. So, if you can come back later, he might not be busy.
That's perfectly fine. That's why we were coming up here to check and see when we could speak with him. Because we've been staying in Algester over towards the barracks, so just leave word if with like Lieutenant Telchund or someone there, and we'll when we can go speak with him.
One of the soldier dwarves that happens to be in the area and listening to this conversation goes to the dwarf guard on the left-hand side. The one that's on the right-hand side is the one that's talking to you, but the one on the left side, he's kind of, you hear the friendly soldier dwarf whispering, "He's the one I was telling you about. He's the one, he jumped on that big thing and took it down."
Oh, he's pointing towards Kane?
He's pointing towards Kane.
Were they speaking in common or in Dwarvish?
They're speaking in Dwarvish.
All right, well then I speak.
Kane doesn't know what they're saying.
I'm going to turn to Kane and tell him in Elvish, you have a fan base for jumping on an orc or jumping on a giant.
The one
Kane just kind of has a look on his face like, what?
The two dwarves look to you, and you know they're definitely on duty, right? So they kind of do their Milidarian salute, where they kind of bring their heels together, and they kind of put their fist over their chest, and then they go back into their stance. You being a background like this, Asher, at least mercenary work, you would recognize certain militaristic greetings. I'm not sure if Kane would know. That's up to Kane to decide at this point. But Asher, you would know that that's a sign of respect.
I would turn to Kane and tell him, and I would say this in common, that they're saluting you.
Oh, Kane responds and does the salute back.
They look at you, and they start talking to you directly, Kane, in Dwarvish. Yeah, man, you gotta teach us how you do that sometime, you know. And oh, that's pretty crazy. I was just amazing. I can't wait to tell stories about this, you know, around the campfire. I got a kid at home who would love to hear this stuff.
Asher is working as translator and asking the dwarves to slow down just a little bit so I can translate.
Más despacio, por favor.
Did they know how to speak common?
You're more than welcome to speak common towards them.
Well, gentlemen, that sounds great. And if y'all are off duty later, I might regale y'all with the story. But you two look like a couple of guys who know where to find a good drink.
We were just going to tell you. This is speaking in Dwarven, obviously. Where are you?
I like that I've turned into Kane's interpreter. We can't hear you if you're talking, Frog.
I'm asking my co-DM a question.
Oh,
That's
okay.
why.
Sorry.
Please hold just one brief moment. I apologize.
Will we get to meet the co-DM?
No. The code DM is to be the mysterious god deity that we shall never see or know.
He's the right hand of Frog.
There's a new frog. There's a new god in town. There's Frog.
And call him Tadpole.
I was just about to say Tadpole. Virtual high five. Oh, Caleb, you just left me hanging. That's cool.
I just looked over and realized the back of Thalia is the fucking Purge.
Yeah, well, that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
He lets off the horn, and it
just
sounds
didn't say
exactly like
anything?
the fucking Purge horn, and then everybody's like slips on their fucking masks and goes ham.
So,
ready for the purge.
Although the name seems to be lost in translation, they would indicate, yes, like we were going to ask you, if you're willing to indulge in the story, in Dwarvish, if you're willing to indulge in the story, that way, make a left, boom, you can't miss it, big fucking sign. It says such and such, which we will fill in the such and such in a few moments.
You're cutting out again, Frog.
You're cutting out.
Yeah, you're cutting out real bad.
It was there at the end. It was there at the end. We caught it before you got too far done.
We heard left and right.
Basically, he's giving you generalized directions and says, big sign, such and such is going to be on the sign, and I'll fill in the blank of such and such as soon as my code DM can pull it up.
Okay.
But, yeah.
As you guys start heading towards the to wherever you're going, I didn't hear it. I'm gonna pull Asher aside and just let him know where that church is that I was staying at. And then I'll be there until you guys need me or something, or send word if you guys get in to see the prince.
As you prep to branch off towards the church, Reen, what are you doing?
Reed feels like he's going to take advantage of the opportunity of his background to tell lavish stories and make massive exaggerations about his adventures over the last 2 weeks to try and score free meals and free lodging and hopefully some coin.
Well, you look around, and right now there's a bunch of soldiers around. They all guide you to... do you speak Dwarvish?
I believe I do, yes, and Elvish.
As they guide you to the same location that the other dwarves had guided to, it's called the Scorched Beard.
Ooh, I like that name.
I do too.
And they say he would actually even follow up with that statement. And once again, a dwarven, hearty voice. Yes, and if it's the most hopping place in town, let me tell you.
Sounds like just the place I need to be.
These dwarves grew up in the 1980s.
As Reen kind of turns around to walk away, he taps you on your shoulder, Reen, asking you to turn around and look at him real quick.
What?
Are you a man?
Yes.
Do you wish to test out how manly you are?
No.
What do you mean by that?
When you get to the scorched beard, look for an individual wearing a black cap. Ask him to play a game of Punch Drunk. Then we'll see how much of a man you really are.
Okay. And Reed turns around and he goes into the bar.
No sooner than you all turn around to head to your locations, you would see Lachun come out of the barracks and start shouting orders like, "What are you doing? This is not a time to fuck. It is a time to fuck around, but you have work to do first."
To us or to the other?
To the dwarves that are mingling.
Okay. Thalia, are you still with the group, or have you?
Frog said before we split off, so I guess I'm still with you.
Yeah, this is like just before you guys make directions.
All right. Then once you tell me where you're going to be at in the church, I'm actually going to. Ash was going to ask if you would you hang back? I kind of want to go to that church, and if I could accompany you. I want to check in on a young dwarf that I helped before we left the wall, and then
I don't know if it's a hospital. It's more of a place of worship.
No, the barracks where the aid station is. there was a dwarf I wanted to check on.
Out of character.
Oh,
That's
and
right
then
next to you guys.
after that, you'll come to the.
Yeah, I want to.
Okay, I gotcha. Alright.
Go with you to the church.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely. As all this is happening, Grognar, the odd man out, probably the only orc in town. You know, and you yourself, you know, they recognize, you know, word travels quickly in a town in the city of Mirladar. You know, you're known to be in the city, although you're still met with silent brow furls and, you know, not quite, you know, slightly outcasted.
Grognar has fun walking back to Medbay and heal people.
Absolutely.
And shouts, basically following with Asher, saying that once they leave, I'm gonna stay here and help the sad small men.
Grog, I need to buy you a fucking dictionary.
Why buy Grognar dictionary?
We need to work on your common. I'm assuming your Orcish is better.
My Orcish is very good. Me can speak with many orcs. All,
You
even the
speak
smartest
Goblin?
orcs. No, Goblin too stupid to learn.
Fuck you too.
Why would I learn Goblin?
I
They're
say
stupid.
fuck you too in Goblin.
Oh. Neat trick, skinny man.
Yeah.
Pats you on the shoulder.
You know, Grog, you're starting to grow on me.
Like a fungus.
That's weird.
Yeah.
A parasite.
Grognar don't want to grow on you. Grognar want to be friends.
It's a figure of speech, Grog. It means we're starting to become friends.
What
I'm
is
starting to-
figure of speech? Is that like where you shape your words like on a page?
I'll explain it later.
All goodwill burn.
I only know how
I
to
regret
cave
getting you
skulls.
off of the post. We're becoming friends. Okay.
Oh,
that's all
okay. Grognar
yeah.
happy. Friend with
Good.
skinny man.
My name is Asher.
Yeah, skinny man. And old man's over that way.
This is in character. Asher's just putting
Not
his head
that
in his
old.
hands. If Kane's old, like what? I'm not that much younger than he is. Who's Kane? How old are you? Like 34?
35. Kane is
35,
35.
yeah. Asher's like 27, 28. So.
Grognar is 19.
Oh, okay. Well, that explains it. Yeah, we are old. I look at Kane, and we are old, Kane, to him. And then I'm gonna like greet Telchund and relay what happened at the gate about them to be sending a messenger for us when we can meet with the prince. And then go inside and see if I can find that wounded dwarf.
Telchun would greet you as well, and thank you. And thank you for your services. We've heard of giant surfing. I wish I was there to see it. Is Kane around?
Yeah.
He's right over here.
He turns to Kane as he kind of looks past Asher at this point. Kane, we thank you for your help. Your services will not be overlooked. I wish for you to share your story. I'm sure that one will be told around Milodar for some time.
I'm a monster slayer, so I just did what comes naturally to me.
Absolutely.
Imagine like a casual flex from
100%. As he gives you a respectful nod, Kane. Well, nevertheless, as you may know, I have much work to get done here. It may be party time for the city. Unfortunately, the soldiers never take a break here, so I must get back to my duties. Is there anything that you need before I get going here?
Nah, we're gonna go grab a drink at the burnt.
Speaking
Arched
of
beard.
that, we don't have any money. That was one of the things we were going to talk to the prince about, of getting some money.
Well, as I spoke about before with you in our last interaction, I'm sure when the prince wants something, he will reward upon completion, most likely. He's a sucker for getting his way. I guess that's what happens when you grow up the son of a king.
I can only imagine. I had to deal with some rich merchants in my mercenary days. I can only imagine it's worse.
Have you seen the throne room? Whew.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
An amazing piece of architecture, let me tell you. That gold has been there since the first generation of Milidarians. It's been in the bloodline for centuries.
How old is Mirador?
At this point, the exact year is not known. We came from the deep. As far as I know, Milidar has been one of the first fully functional cities topside. What you see on the top side only represents a mere 2% of our amazing empire. Our amazing empire may not be clustered in one general location, but we are found scattered throughout the earth under.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, Frog, just letting you know, it's getting to that point where your mic's cutting out again. We still heard what you said, but...
I'm not having any problems with it.
I appreciate the heads up. Just keep me posted.
I'm just starting noticing signs when it starts
happening. Why you want that?
I'm sorry, say that again?
Put you on post? Why you want that?
Huh?
I put you on post. Why you want that, God?
What? I don't understand what
I'm
you're
lost.
saying.
I'm sorry.
Keep him posted.
Speaking in character in an out of character conversation.
Oh.
Keep me posted. I get it. Giggle,
I just
giggle.
had a fucking aneurysm.
Way to derail. Way to derail.
Yeah. Put a fucking shirt on, kid.
Nevertheless, so as Lachund is offering, is there anything else again? He points over to you, Grognar. And as he kind of points over to you, he kind of recoils a little bit, but then you can see it in his brow that he has kind of an aha moment. What can we get you? Grog-ish?
Grognar is his name.
My apologies, Grognar.
Grognar his contribution can be given to party. Grognar only wants to help. He go heal people now.
Oh, here, I'm sure we have plenty of wounded inside. We've actually had to put our overflow in the cathedral. So you might see many over there as well. But please, here. As he calls over one of the medics and kind of salutes on the way in, he instructs this medic to bring Grognar with him to show him around and to assist.
And then I'm going to go inside and see if I see the dwarf that I helped put the tourniquet on.
Sure. Why don't you roll me a perception check as you walk in? It's loud in here. There's a hustle and bustle. There's a lot of dwarves and some Holy Empire individuals here, shouting back and forth to each other. You're on the first
15.
floor. As you look around the first floor, you do not see. As you look bed to bed, you look at some of the wounded that are, they're out of bed space. So, they're on the floor in the corners. Even Lieutenant Lachun's desk has been used for space as well.
I'll move upstairs real quick then.
You make your way upstairs behind Grognar at this point, as Grognar is following the other medic. And as Grognar is at the top, you see the medic kind of pointing around. Looks like he's showing Grognar where the medical bandages are, where the supplies are, some antiseptic, things like that. As you walk by, you overhear that the table that was once housed with food is now promptly or predominantly in the middle of the room, and there's 2 soldiers on it. Give me another perception check up here. The crowd, is that a 10 on a nat 1? Oh my god.
I have a +9 to perception.
So as you once again look around, there's so many people up here, medics shouting, people, make way. You see other injured people getting pulled through or even being brought in. The beds are double bunked. It's chaos in this medic tent right now, or this medical barracks. You do not see said child.
Is that medic that was talking with Grognar still up there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Once he's done talking with Grog, I want to ask him about the dwarf and kind of explain what he looked like, and came in with a tourniquet with a broken arrow used to make the tourniquet.
As he's working with Grognar on the side, he would respond to you in a hasty voice and not a rude voice. He's rude only because he's got work to do. Like, no, never heard of him. All overflows over at the cathedral. Just go.
Okay, thank you.
He doesn't even respond back as he's like fucking wrist deep in some dude's belly.
All right.
As you pause there, I want to get everyone else on in this here. Dillinger.
Yep.
So, fucking Asher, Grognar go into the barracks. You see Thalia getting ready to head off in a direction that you've never been. Well, you may have been there. You're familiar with the city. What appears to be that way. And landmarks that are there. One of the landmarks that are in that direction is the cathedral, or the chapel, or the church, whatever word you want to use to associate with it. Boom. That's it. And then you see Reen heading towards where he was instructed to go as well.
Yep. So Dillinger was basically just kind of following the majority of the party and kind of just like was following Asher for the most part, since Asher's the only one that's really talked to him. But while doing that, I have a reason why I've been actually a little bit quiet. Is Dillinger, while doing it, was working on a little mini map of the gate area, and I actually just threw the photo of what I actually whipped up into the table for Thursday. But he's actually just kind of sitting there working on that. And I actually had a thing for that I was going to do with, where basically the little inkling was going to bring that. Oh, did my Bluetooth just fuck up?
I still hear you.
I still hear you. By the way, holy fuck, man.
Yeah. When I went silent and was cameras when I was working on that, so I literally just whipped that up.
Awesome. And this is the back gates?
Yeah. So the top of it where you have where it's like the single line coming down, it's like the main road coming in through the first portcullis into the kill zone area, and then you have that second portcullis in the back, and it splinters off into like the city where you have the two splinter roads, some buildings there. Up by the front was the two statues you initially had from the initial design. I have those statues on the sides of the gate there, represented by the two circles. And then the streak lines on the sides are just the sheer cliff sides. And then you, of course, have my inkling, Tente, holding or grabbing the paper to carry it. So there's two little ink blots on the side of it.
It's fucking badass, dude.
Dillinger, give yourself a DM inspiration.
That's fucking cool.
Look, I am proficient in cartography of this character, and I actually like map making, and I actually like to dick around with that a little bit. So it's like, doing this is actually something like I actually like doing. So it was...
That's fucking cool, dude.
Yeah. So following Asher here and all stuff, he's just kind of waiting outside of the barracks, waiting for Asher to kind of leave as he's finishing up this map at the time. As Tinte basically kind of wants to like go like, hey, I'm good towards Asher, because Asher was like showed a little like resistance towards her at first. It's like she can't speak, but she does have emotions. Dang it!
Right, I get it. I really
So,
like the inkling.
Yeah, and it's like to kind of help her represent, like she's getting a little antsy. There's like the little ink splotches on the side of this little map from her grabbing it.
Awesome. Awesome.
Sorry,
Fantastic.
I was listening to it all. It was just like I was trying to get that whipped out as quick as possible before we went to a spot where crap, I missed this opportunity.
Kane, as all this is happening, this conversing is happening, what is Kane all about right now? Where are you headed?
I was told about a bar.
Yes, you were. I'm assuming you're heading there?
Yep.
Reen is on your left shoulder as both of you guys are walking in that general direction. You start to see a couple of dwarves kind of dancing in the street. More of the family seems to come out of the... More of the dwarves seem to come out as well, joining in on the festivities. One of these soldiers in particular, Holy Empire, who happens to have a couple of drumsticks with him, takes his helmet off and begins kind of tapping on it, kind of pounding out a beat. Another dwarf that comes out from like the top of the windows that open up out, the top floor of their home. Starts piping a little bit in tune with this beat that he's drumming. The atmosphere is really exciting at the moment and joyous, Kane. As you kind of look around to hear all these beautiful sounds, you hear only half of it. As every time you turn, it's like your sonar on one side is muted, and you acknowledge, and it kind of makes you touch your missing ear a little bit, and kind of makes you just think. What are you thinking of?
Revenge.
Okay.
Don't kill that bitch.
Fantastic. Nothing like happy music to make you think of killing someone.
Mm-hmm.
So, eventually, you both make your way and follow directions, and you see this very large stone structure with kind of portholes or windows cut and chiseled into rock. The sign on the door itself is not even a wooden sign. It's carved out of stone. And you see what looks to be just the beard of a dwarf, and it seems to be like lit on fire. And it's all carved into the stone. Underneath it says the scorched beard, and already the inside of it is bumping.
Well, Green, I think this is the place.
Most definitely.
As you both make your way in there, you see two individuals, a dwarven man and a human female from different armies. One, the female from the Holy Empire, who's still in her armor, and the dwarven male in his armor. They both kind of rush out of the door, and they kind of collide mugs, and they kind of just trail off into the town to do who knows what. You make your way into the tavern, and I believe I have an ambiance photo for that. There it is. The tavern itself, the ceilings are high. There are dwarves and humans and elves alike. Immediately, Reen, your eyes zoom right into the corner as you see a table with green armor and gold plate, or green tabards and gold-plated armor. As their posture is very different. All the dwarves are loose and rowdy. The Holy Empire also just as rowdy. These individuals seem to be a little bit more proper, as they definitely sit up with their back straight. They have food in front of them, as well as a mug of ale or wine, or who knows what they're drinking. But they seem to hold themselves in a different regard in comparison to the rest of this tavern. Kane, immediately, what you see is a bar with a bunch of dwarves ordering cocktails and food and ale and beer. And then you see an individual with a black hat on. He kind of hits somebody on the shoulder, and as they turn around, you just see him deck him across the face, and he falls onto the floor. You hear dwarves' laughter erupt as this dwarf is on the floor, and he's like, ha 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 ha, and standing up, holding his chin.
This is my kind of place.
Absolutely. While you guys enjoy your festivities, I am going to link something for the individuals that are in the Scorched Beard. I linked a link in the chat there. Can you guys see it?
Yes.
You're welcome, you're welcome to
okay.
open it. So, for the individuals in the Scorched Beard, while you read that over...
Where is the link?
In the chat in Roll20.
You got this finished.
We got wands.
Yep, you can read that to yourself. So, Thalia.
Yeah.
You're walking away, and although there are inhabitants of this city that are very much in a cheerful mood, it doesn't seem to be as rowdy as the clear hangout spots. You continue to walk into the direction that you know where this cathedral is. You take a deep breath in, and for the first time in some days, you get a whiff of fresh air as the breeze from the outer wall just kind of, regulates the airflow in here and just kind of zips around in the air pressure here. And it's soothing to you.
I allow it to fill up my lungs and kind of really take it in.
You do, and very much so. It's got a sweetness to it, almost like a blooming flower bed. As you continue to make your way to the cathedral, the front doors themselves, there seems to be a lot of movement in and out, men of the cloth, and what looks to be healers of sorts. You see individuals and dwarves and humans kind of laid out on the steps that lead to these massive doors. They seem to be injured as well.
Well, was hoping for peaceful respite, but I guess not. I guess I'm gonna walk up to whoever the head, whoever seems to be leading this cathedral, priest or whatever.
Absolutely. You make your way into the cathedral, a very familiar location to you, the statue of Helm reaching up to the stars with that mighty glove in his hand, and the separation of deities under this one global entity in the middle of this room. The pews themselves seems to have been pushed a little bit on the side and turned into like pseudo bunk beds or pseudo beds or resting places that are filled also with many individuals. One seems to be a fairly young child with an arrow tourniquet featured predominantly, which doesn't seem to be bleeding right now, but the child itself looks pale in the face and practically half passed out.
There's your lad, Asher.
You also see in front of you, under the statue of Helm, a female dwarf, clad in white, and kind of has a thin kind of scale mail. It looks to be more decorative than used for armor, but it's like a scale mail that kind of covers the front chest plate of herself under the over the white robes that she's wearing. She's got about like a half a beard, and she has braids coming down the sides and one middle one down her back, as she seems to be offering prayers to people coming by.
Okay. Am I to assume that she's the one who's heading this effort?
I mean, she seems to be front and center of the cathedral. You,
Okay.
in your own way, know that this is, you don't sit in a king's throne, you know what I mean, if you're not a king. So, metaphorically speaking.
Okay. I will make my way up to her.
You make your way up to her, and there's like a queue line there right now. The queue line itself is like maybe 10 or so deep. Are you going to wait your turn?
Yeah, respectfully.
Absolutely. Individuals pass. Takes about a minute each as you kind of hear chanting and whatnot. You see this individual's hands begin to hum a little bit of a silvery white, and she places them on cheeks or on shoulders or on a head or on a leg. And these individuals move on. With that, some of these individuals will take out a coin and toss it into a bucket. You're one person behind now in queue. You're second in line. And a similar thing is happening. This one, she puts both hands on shoulder, kind of pulls this individual in. And although you can't quite hear what she's saying, a whisper begins to happen in his ear. And he begins to cry, and then offers a coin and walks away. This female looks up at you. And how may the mighty helm assist you today?
I came to pledge my services to the cathedral and also to return this. And I'll kind of flash the back of the gauntlet so that the eye is visible, and then take it off and present it.
As you attempt to take it off, you get it off about 3 to 4 inches, and you feel it go.
So like it's attached itself to me now?
It seems to, as you try to pull it off, you find it very difficult to get it past your wrist.
Oh.
Oh. Where did you find this? This female says to you.
It was wedged behind the statue of Helm, and I kind of gesture up to the statue.
Were you guided to it? Or did you find it in happenstance?
I believe I was guided to it.
She turns up to the statue and just kind of looks, her hands in the air. Intriguing. And what were you doing behind the statue?
What's the thing that you collect money in
Alms
for the church?
It was an alms bucket.
Yeah. I wanted to make sure that the alms bucket, it was left out, and I just wanted it to be not stolen, so I put it behind the statue because there was coin in it.
You are quite the beacon of good. It seems you only care about everyone else over yourself.
I try to do my best for the people of the Empire.
This glove doesn't allow itself to be worn by anyone. It's been behind that statue for many generations. The last individual to wear it was a soldier of the light. He was known for many heroic deeds.
I'm not sure I'm worthy enough to carry that honor.
Do you doubt Helm's choices?
I'm estranged to Helm's ways. I normally follow the Red Lady, but if Helm has deemed me worthy, I sincerely hope I can carry this in his honor and wear it well in his name.
She advises you to look up. You see, young soldier of light, as you can see, Helm is but an overseer of many similar viewpoints on life and light and battle. As you can see, this cathedral was designed to house similar thoughts and beliefs and feelings, to unite them all, to be stronger as a group more so than the individual. If Helm has chosen you to wear this not only is one to be wearing it with honor, but it may seem that, be it Helm or the Red Knight, might have something they want you to do.
Where might I receive more guidance for this task
Well,
that they've put me to?
that's the question everyone comes here for, don't you think? Who am I to know precisely what the workings of gods would be? It's kind of the question we all ask ourselves, right? The greater picture, the meaning of it all. But if you were chosen, it might be for something you may not see today or tomorrow. But whatever it is, it must be something big and important. Perhaps one day your name will be written in lore and legend.
I nod and ponder thoughtfully for a few seconds. And then I look back up to her and I ask, until that time is made known to me, where can my services be most helpful here in the cathedral?
Unfortunately, knowing that you have a gift from the gods, I am in no position to tell you what you should do. I believe the Red Knight or Helm will guide you. I would say, follow your heart. Maybe it'll lead you to the answers you seek. I appreciate your presence here, child of the Red Queen. Red Knight, excuse me. Red Queen, child of
Us with their heads.
child of the Red Knight. It's an honor to have you here. Might I ask you maybe a favor you can do for us?
Absolutely.
Tonight, after the evening feast, would you please guide us in a sermon to lead us into better days tomorrow?
I'm not much of a... I'm not a speaker. I just...
But you bear the gift of a god. There must be something you can speak about.
I can do my best.
Sweet, I will make preparations, and I will let the rest of the cloth know. They will be delighted to hear you. Please, may I have the honor of knowing your name?
Thalia de Rune.
Thalia de Rune. A name which may be echoed in the halls of legend. It is lovely to make your acquaintance. I am Rary. I run this outfit here.
What's his name? Sorry, I can't hear you very well.
Her name, Rary.
Her name.
R-E-R-I.
R-E-R-I. Got it. Okay.
The cloth would be delighted to hear what the holder of the gift of the gods have to say. You'll make our day. You honor us. Please, make yourself at home. My quarters, feel free, right behind here. You're more than welcome to use it for the time. I look forward to hearing your words of wisdom later this evening.
I nod and tell her that I'm going to kind of clean myself up and so that I can prepare to help with the wounded.
She bows at you.
And also panic, but I'm not going to say that.
Fantastic. All right. As you, she kind of seems to hum to herself, and light begins to just emanate from her hands, and look very mild light. You know what I mean? It's just radiance, and it's warm as she puts her hands on your shoulder. It kind of gives you goosebumps on your arms a little bit, but it's comforting. It's not in the weird sense. It's more of a like slipping into cold covers and then warming them up kind of a feeling. And you drift off to the back to prepare yourself for a speech that we're probably going to hear in about an hour. I would believe that is a great place to take our 10. Yeah, we'll take our 10 here. Actually, I kind of have to use the bathroom, and it might take me more than 10. So why don't we just call... Well, I'm on a liquid diet for reasons I don't want to speak out loud for now.
I know. You've told us.
It takes me a minute or two. So let's say it's 10 after now. Let's call it 25. Does that sound kosher to everybody?
Yeah.
Sounds fine to me.
All right, beautiful.
I'm gonna go get me something to eat.
Yeah,
I blame Asher.
Be back at 25, guys. And Fate, I'm going to pull you aside for a minute.
Yep.
I'm really enjoying all the RP this session. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Actually,
Let me mute the stream real quick so no one can hear us talking. One moment.
she's got a 12 in charisma.
You have
And
proficiency
that
in
13
persuasion or anything?
that 13 constitution is working overtime right now, trying to like keep her calm.
Oh, gee.
She's
Only
like
if-
her whole deal is like she's the duty that she has is just to be a wandering kind of peacekeeper slash local
Hey, bud.
traveling law enforcement kind of thing. It's not supposed to be a very renowned position. It's very important, but it's not like
I know.
it's a role that is often looked down upon by nobles because it's a dirty lifestyle. It's a lifestyle that requires you to be alone and you're camping most of the time and you're not really traveling with people.
Sounds like a great time to Asher.
Sounds like
well, yeah, it
Grognard
sounds
gets
like a great
travel
time
with
to her
Pretty Lady.
too. But she's not like a fucking religious pinnacle by any stretch. So, it's not a... I shouldn't have said anything. I should have just pretended like I was under a vow of silence. That would have worked.
Just say that you took a vow of silence right before the speech. Just have it written down and hand it to her.
I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna say.
Asher's version.
I'm gonna
is
roll for some divine inspiration, and maybe Frog will take pity upon me.
Asher's version.
So
of
my
this
social
would
my
be-
social anxiety is bad enough that fake people stress
I
me the
have
fuck out.
prestidigitation.
Just say kill more of those bastards than of your bastards.
Calling them a bunch of bastards probably wouldn't help much.
Talia doesn't curse.
But Grognard does.
Asher. will
Ragnar
curse
isn't
sword.
smart enough to know what cursing is.
Grognard.
Matt, what's the puppy's
I
name?
have an 11. I have an 11 intelligence. I just don't use common a bunch. So my character's like, hey, I can understand more than I can speak.
Are you telling me that when you speak in your native tongue, you're just like all suave and you're using
Yeah,
all these
yeah.
big fucking words, but then
Yeah.
in
Did you
fucking
not hear what
common
he
you
said?
sound like a buffoon?
In Orcish, he said he can speak with the smartest of orcs.
All right.
That's
Speaking
not a
of
high
buffoon-
bar.
Speaking of buffoon, has anyone noticed the prince's name is literally Prince Buffoon?
Hey, we don't talk about the prince like that.
I haven't seen the prince yet.
Well,
You
his
guys
actual name
did all
is
that shit without
Buffoon.
me.
His name is Buffoon. So I don't know if that's like a misspeak from Frog. I'm gonna ask him again, or if he literally named a prince Buffoon. That's
I mean-
something in Dwarvish.
Personally, I hope buffoon is just short for boomy somehow.
right,
So we have King Boomy at
right.
some point.
I feel like he doesn't
King
display
Boomy.
any of the qualities of King Boomy at all.
Yeah, King Boomy was a badass.
Yeah.
Touche.
I just
So
started
we need to
rewatching
find
that.
someone named Boomy that fits the personality and make him king.
Question: with Dungeons and Dragons, is there any way to make a character that would be like a bender from Avatar? Like,
There are homebrew for that, but it requires it requires a very different magic system than D&D really
okay,
allows.
I think the closest in 5e you get is going to be the Element Monk,
Mm-hmm.
and that's going to be the
with like a bunch of multiclassing.
So no. Actually, I could sit there. So you could get you could at least do fire pretty easily, because if you go the actual Jinn race or the genie race, depending on how you want to
Mhm.
pronounce it, Go and then just dip a little bit into the Genie Warlock. You actually like your melee attacks, which one of the gens you choose to side with, you deal elemental damage in addition to your regular damage on melees.
But
So
the
you
thing
can
is that
thematic that way, as well as if you dip into the monk, you for the way of the elements, you then also have the key points you can spend to make your stuff do damages that way in elements. It won't be picture perfect, but
the thing is that it's like super powered down, because if you really think about it, especially in terms of D&D, bending is
Resistances.
extremely overpowered.
Oh yeah, like an earthbender could fuck everybody up.
Oh yeah, I mean a firebender, literally being able to conjure lightning at will, like
Yeah.
pretty much you're thinking of being able to cast shape
Lightning
water, lightning bolt,
Fireball.
all of these like leveled spells as cantrips almost.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's
I mean-
really fucking busted if you looked at it. That's why there was like a homebrew that I read that completely reworked the magic system and rebalanced everything in order to fit within that world, but it doesn't translate very well to normal D&D because you just become busted broken really fucking quick.
Like,
so you might be able if you want to give it like a thematic spin to the stuff, at least with fire, and all stuff. Like even like for using fireball for example, you could like thematically like try to make it like you're bending it when even though you're just using the base spell. You could try like to describe it thematically so it's like you're bending the fire instead, or things like that. It's like you could try.
like, flavor-wise, you could make it kind of half-ass work with a wizard for a
Yeah.
Or sorcerer.
But it
Yeah,
wouldn't
it's
it wouldn't be nearly as powerful.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's like the closest like true way, like I said, I think it's gonna be the Element Monk, which I don't believe is even a good subclass as
It's
to
D
start
tier.
with. Yeah, it's like monks in general. Fortunately, in D&D with 5e, you get the short end of the stick on basically everything.
I feel like monks are very situational.
Monks,
Yes.
the worst thing about the monks is that they have this unarmored weapon thing, but up until like level 18, I think, it's actually more beneficial for you to just use a real weapon than it is to use your unarmed weapon. It just makes you do a D6 instead of a D4 for unarmed attacks.
Well, no, monks can get up to a D8 with their unarmed attacks by level
10.
12 or something like that. 10,
At the max.
Okay, well, even then,
Depending
it's still
on your
not
build,
great.
they can have that at level 1.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. A fighter can do that at level 1 with a fighting style.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there's a feat that gives you the fighting style.
But stunning
so-
strike is what really makes the monk
Yeah.
still quote unquote viable.
Yeah.
The only good subclass that's like,
Stunning
considered
strike
the best
and
is Way of Mercy because it literally gives poison condition. And so unless something's immune to the poison condition, there's no save, nothing. It just gains poison, so disadvantage on all attacks.
It is a great class to play if you want to lean way into flavor and roleplay, though.
Yeah.
Because it
I mean-
does leave a lot of cool stuff there,
Yeah.
narratively speaking, but not so much mechanically.
Because I know with like Critical Role, they had to do a lot of like reflavoring and reworking some rules to make Marisha's character not suck
Yeah.
as they got into higher levels.
Monk
It's
is
funny because she chose like one of the worst classes following up after her like the best fucking class.
What did she play? I started watching Critical Role on campaign 2.
She played a druid.
In campaign 1, she was a druid.
And druid is widely considered to be one of the most broken classes, or it's really easy to break, especially if you go into
shape.
Wild shape is
Is it
fucking
Circle of the
broken.
Moon lets you wild shape as a bonus action?
Are you talking about my favorite class?
Yes.
Like druids are
Okay.
cool, but they're just way too complicated.
They're not
also
very
the big thing
complicated.
with wild shape is the fact that while you're wild shape, you have a completely new health bar that is
Yeah.
at a max. So it's like if you go Circle of the Moon, you can become a bear at level 3, and with that or level 2, sorry.
That's when they get their
And-
circle.
Okay, yeah, and then a bear has 30 hit points. You have 30 hit points at level 2, and you're a fucking bear.
And you can
Yeah.
do that twice.
I'm back.
Yeah,
And the
yeah.
other thing that makes druids really good is they have access to conjure fae, I believe. And then
Yep.
they can command that
Yeah.
fae to do whatever they want. And one of the fae they can summon is a pixie. And
they
that
have
pixie
more.
knows fucking true polymorph.
And
No,
they
it's-
can all
It can cast it
polymorph into
6
T-Rexes.
times.
Just
It's-
polymorph.
So you can have the entire party turn into fucking T-Rexes
Yeah.
and just fucking have the pixie go hide somewhere, and you just
Sure gets access
break
to
the
that
game.
spell at higher levels.
So
it's not that high level.
Real quick here, I'm gonna interject. 2 things. It's not buffoon. It's buffooned. I put it in chat.
Okay.
Bifund. Buffooned.
The way you were pronouncing it last Thursday, it sounded like you were calling him buffoon.
Yeah.
Probably the way you were hearing it. Sure.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of fits with the prince, anyways.
Fair enough.
It's buffoon.
Second thing is monks. It's resource depreciation is the problem. I feel the lack of key points to maintain effectiveness in or out of combat. That's what I feel its failing points are. Nevertheless, so where were we? We have everyone here. Let me turn on my camera right quick. All right. My camera's on. Fantastic, guys. Fate, speak up. Kane, speak up.
Hold your peace.
Howdy.
Beautiful. Everyone is here as we continue on our RP heavy session tonight, which I love. So
I'm loving it.
I'm digging it. Speaking about Kane, what were you gonna say, buddy?
Win.
What?
Now,
You said, what was I going to say? I was like, wait, win, because the last time I was talking was we were talking about the monk.
Yeah, no, fuck the monk. We're back in game now.
Okay.
Asshole.
Fuck the monk. Fuck the monk.
Fuck you too.
So here we go. So as Thalia kind of gets tucked away and preps her armor and her own ritualistic.
Who's that
sort of
dancing
way.
behind you, Frog?
Probably kids, but I don't care. Yeah, it's probably my 17-year-old daughter dancing behind me that you see on live stream.
It's one of the dwarves from Milodar.
Yep.
It's fine.
There she goes again.
Yeah, that's how the dwarves are dancing.
That's my head cannon now.
That's canon.
So here we go. So as Thalia goes in and does her ritualistic armor and whatnot, continuing on, the camera will pull out of the cathedral and down the streets, over Asher's head and everybody else's head that followed to the cathedral, and back into the Scorched Beard, where the camera sits over Reen's shoulder as he looks left and right. The camera looks with him in that first-person perspective. Reen, what's going on with you, buddy?
Walk right up to some of these elves, and I'm going to ask them in Elvish, what brings you guys all the way to the edge of the world?
As you approach the table of elves, they kind of look up at you and you do not present yourself in greetings. May we have your name first before we engage in conversations with you? In kind of a higher, proper kind of voice.
The name's Reen. Reen Arsaid. You probably don't know me. I'm just curious.
We come mainly because we are bound by duty. It is in our nature to follow through with promises. We serve our king, Orin, with unrelenting unwaverness. Unwaverness. I don't even know the right word for that. We are here to support our allegiance and support the Holy Empire as we have for centuries.
Not a lot of you.
Unfortunately, as much as the Holy Empire has their problems over here, we too, our lands are being run amok. The Chaos Armory from the north has been seen ravaging through our villages and woods and forests. They set the mountains ablaze, release something awful into the air.
That's a problem.
Now the real question is what is a unfactioned human as yourself doing in a location like this?
It's a long story.
Well, we have 24 hours before our duty is up here. You're welcome to have a seat and chat.
So Reen's gonna pull up a chair and he's gonna talk about the entire adventure where we meet, how he met it, he beat in with a couple people. He's gonna talk about everything. He's gonna talk about the wolf with the laser eyes, the massive snake that gets summoned out of thin air. We talk about Iridian like tripping over a pebble and having his arm get chopped off. And then about the time that idiot like went inside a hag's den. I mean, he is just gonna tell his tale.
Fantastic. Mid-tale telling, a waitress or a wench would come up to you. Something for you, lad.
Oh, I can't right now. Unfortunately, most of my possessions have been taken from me.
Well, tonight's a night for celebration. First drink is free.
Thank you. I'm gonna grab whatever it is and start drinking.
Well, as you ask for the drink is not necessarily there. You have to order it first, as she explains. Do you wish to order?
Sure.
As
I will
she...
try the...
Oh, go ahead.
I'm gonna go with the Yellow Torch Pinot Noir.
The Pinot Noir?
Yes.
Absolutely. As she kind of shouts over. Hey! Kilmul! One Pinot! And an individual in a black hat starts kind of trotting his way over to you. He plops the wine on the ground, or on the table in front of you. The elves at the table are kind of like looking at each other side by side, kind of just gazing around each other and kind of getting an idea what's happening here. And Kilmul would say, with every celebration comes one free drink, and the stars come out, and he, boom, decks you across the face. He nails you in the face. It stings as it pushes you back slightly.
Ow, what was that for?
Why, it's tradition. Here, this is the home of Punch Drunk. You wish to play?
How do you play?
It's easy. You down a whole flargon, and you give him a wallop. Last man standing wins.
Huh, you buying?
No. Couldn't do that. Too many faces to punch tonight.
I'm gonna turn around and I'm gonna look at the elves. I'm like, you guys want a show?
And if you look at me in the camera, they all go, no, we're okay.
And then I look back. I was like, how about another time? And sit back down.
Another drink for the pansy, as he walks away. The waitress looks down at you. Are you okay, hon?
I'll be fine.
She kind of pulls out of her bodice, kind of this napkin, as she tries to wipe a little bit of the blood dribbling from your lip.
Thank you.
Well, just shout if you need anything. I'll be right over here by the bar. And she begins to march away. As you tell your stories, Reen, excuse me, roll me a performance check, please. With a 15, These elves listen to your entire. They listen to your entire life story. Do you? How deep back do you go exactly? Do you go all the way back?
Just since I met the adventuring team in Beaton.
Fair enough. When you get to the whole Beaton concept, the elves seem to be intrigued by that plot. In particular, they're asking you, well, what have you done about it since?
Well, unfortunately, so we only get to the Beaton part, and then nothing else after that.
I'm sorry, say again?
So then I would finish the story, and I said that we came here to Milidar to try and get help for Beaton, and then once we got here, that was under siege.
Yeah, well, they stopped you
here
at the Beaton time because they already heard everything else. Basically they're interrupting, and they seem to be asking and inquiring about the Beaton scenario.
Well, the answer that I would give them is nothing. Unfortunately, we've never been able to get back to Beaton, and we don't know the status of the town or the people that reside there.
So what have you decided to do about it since then? I'm not understanding how you, a man as adventurous as you are, you appear to have no loyalties. Do you believe in loyalty?
I believe in money. Loyalty to money.
I see why you seem to be attracted to a place like Milidar.
My first time here, actually. Don't plan on staying.
Where do you plan to go?
Well, at some point, I gotta go back to this hag, kill her, get Frank back. Some of my old armor and sword would be nice too. My backpack and money I had on me. And then probably got to get back to Beaton and save all those people again too. They're the ones who hired us.
Well, I wish I could say we could help you. Unfortunately, I mean, what could we do? We're set out to leave back to the shores on 7 days' time from here, out of Bestow. I don't know what we can do in 7 days, but I wish you the best.
Well, thanks. And if you change your mind, just come and find me. We could always use the help.
One of the elves speaks up, who seems to have this desire and sense of duty here. What specific kind of help would you need in this situation?
Well, last time we were in Beaton, we were heavily outnumbered. I don't know how many men are still there, or if they're even still there, but we wouldn't be able to go back against what they had.
And these were greenskins, you said?
Yes, greenskins, standard equipment. They looted the village a little bit, and got a few of them got some upgrades, but still your normal greenskin.
Many dealings out in the elven territories with greenskins. Always a nuisance. Filthy creatures. I sympathize with you, Mr. Reen, but yet again, I'm not sure if I can assist. Roll me a persuasion check. Dear Reen, I wish there was more than I can do, but if you ever find yourself in the elven lands, feel free to look for me, or look for me, or the House of Oron, and perhaps we can get you a commissioned set of armor that's worthy of an individual with a background as yourself.
I appreciate it.
Well, we best take our leave now. We'll leave at the crack of dawn. As they stand up, and they kind of bow to you slightly.
Have a good night.
Fantastic. And as they leave you at the table, we head over to Kane, who we hadn't heard in a hot minute. You're at the bar, Kane.
Yeah.
The individual with the black hat comes just left of your shoulder, ordering another flargon.
Flagon?
Whatever the fuck.
Love you, buddy.
Martin, what's the strongest drink you got here?
Well, it's not a very creative name. We call it Liquid Fire. It's not even on the menu.
Get me a pint.
Oh, that's 5 gold a pint, sir. Specially brewed in the attics of a specific individual. Have you heard of the Luckstrom family?
Out of character. Have I heard of the Luxton family? I want to say yes because it sounds like something that's been brought up before.
Wednesday has.
Well, this brew comes specifically from the Luckstrom chain, known from the Luckstrom winery. It's imported at this particular brew here is made directly in Mirladar. Quite proud of it, but scarce and rare to find. We keep it for very special occasions, and what better occasion than the survival of our city? I'm willing to pour it.
Damn straight.
Only 5 gold each.
Luckily, Kane remembered to write down the gold he picked up from the dwarves they found outside.
Did we find some gold there?
Yeah, we found some gold there.
I don't remember that we found gold there.
Did you distribute that gold? Because
Yeah.
It was it was 10 gold.
We're middle RP right now, guys, so why don't you handle that in chat?
Yep. So he slides over 5 gold. It ain't much, guys.
As you slide over the 5 gold, the bartender literally ducks down and kind of opens up kind of a cabinet. The individual in the black hat. What you getting?
What was it called again? I can't remember.
Liquid Fire?
Yeah, I'm getting some liquid fire.
Yeah?
Yep.
Can you hold your liquor?
Yes.
You've made sure you've tied everything to you, right?
No.
Fair enough. Good luck.
Thank
Barkeep,
you.
I'll take one too. As he also slides over 5 golds. They pour, and the brew is thick. It's very much a thick brew, and like it doesn't even feel like beer does. It almost looks like a very thin syrup, as it kind of just slowly kind of fills in the flagon, and whatnots. And as you hold your brew up, this individual also holds their brew. So, what are we drinking to?
Well, today I jumped off the wall onto a giant zombie giant and killed it.
So, you're saying we're going to drink to the zombie or to the giant slayer, and everyone in the bar, to the giant slayer.
Yep.
He collides your tankard, and a little bit of that goo kind of comes out and spills on the bar top. The bar top begins to have a little mist come off of it, as it seems to be melting a little bit of the bar top. And 1, 2, 3, pound. Good. Do you take the whole thing?
Yep.
You take the whole thing. This individual with the black hat as well slams the tankard on the floor or on the tabletop. You do as well. Boom. He starts to laugh. What are you doing right now?
I'm laughing too.
He punches you in the face.
Punch him in the face.
Hold on, we're getting there.
Okay, hold on.
As he punches you in the face, do me a favor. Give me a Constitution saving throw.
Okay. Let's see how well this goes. 10. Shit. Oh.
Okay.
Not bad.
So, your punches are going to be melee punches. Here's how we're going to work this. All right, you're going to be a melee attack. You could use your benefits, but because of your con save, you're going to -2 on all your checks going further in this little competition.
Okay.
I myself Okay. So, as you get punched in the face, give me a strength check. You could use all a strength saving throw. You could use all your it's a strength check, but you could use all your bonuses, but -2. Actually, no, not -2
Okay.
yet. Not -2 yet.
Your mic
That's
is
if you
messing
get
up,
hit.
bro.
So go ahead and roll a strength check. Boom. He punches you in the face.
21.
Boom! He slams you in the face. You don't get knocked back or knocked on your ass, and he's still laughing.
And I punch him in the face.
You punch him in the face. He and kind of takes it on the chin and looks at you, and everyone on the bar is digging him. Yeah! He laughs, punches you in the face again. Go ahead and give me. Actually, no. Give me a strength check again. A strength strength check. Boom, boom. You take it as well.
Punch him right back.
You punch him. Boom! He fucking takes it like a champ again. Bar hop. 2 more. And he looks over to you as he puts 5 on the table.
Take my last 5 and put it on the table.
The bar hop pours 2 more. To the Giant Slayer! To the Giant Slayer! Glug! Glug, glug, glug. He starts to laugh. Punches you in the face. Give me a con save. Nice.
17.
So you're still at just a -2 modifier. And he punches you in the face. Roll me a strength check.
14.
That's a -2 modifier. So 12.
Yeah,
You-
12. So
You get hit really hard. So hard that it puts you back in your seat. He begins to laugh. Looks like I win. To the Giant Slayer! To the Giant Slayer! What are you gonna do, Kane?
Oh. I laugh and stand back up. It's like, good game.
He hands it. He extends his hand for a good shake.
I shake it.
He shakes it. He flips 5 more on the table. On me. Kane the Giant Slayer.
You're
The
my
bar
kinda
hop
guy.
pours you 1 more. Do you wish to drink?
Yeah.
Due to the amount of drinking you've done in such a short amount of time, I would like to give you a disadvantaged Constitution saving throw.
Okay. Quick.
Nice.
12.
12. As we pause you there, drinking your ass off. Grognar, you've been helping all these people. And you made your way to the... Did you make your way to the cathedral too? I didn't know if you were following Asher. No, you still at the barracks.
I stayed at the barracks to help heal.
100%. So... it's a hustle and bustle. There's really not much flavor there. There's injured people, some of which are in the process of going into cardiac arrest and shock, and some people start to seize as it's pretty bad. You know what I mean? The town may be not thinking about it because of the festivities that seem to be erupting in sporadic locations around Millardar, but for you, it's you're knee deep in shit.
Yeah, I start using prestidigitation to start cleaning the used bandages.
100%. You do so, and one of the medics actually sees you doing this, and he kind of side-eyes you.
Grognar cleaned the bandages so they can be reused. Make better, faster.
Never, in a higher-pitched dwarven voice, never quite met someone like you before, but thank you for what you're doing.
Grognar like helping tiny men. Tiny men strong, make good warriors.
Yes, we are stout by nature. We are very proud
And
as
have-
well. That's why I want
And
to.
have handsome beards.
That's why I want to save this one. He's it's my second cousin. Do me a
Give
favor.
Grognar
I
10
would-
minutes.
I would like you to put your hand on this hole here where the arrow is so I can pull it out.
I assist by putting my hand on.
Give me a medicine check.
Shit.
You kind of place your hand over the wound, putting pressure on it as this dwarven medic kind of pops out. The problem is that as you're putting too much pressure on the wound, it's these arrows that are in these dwarves. They're very shoddily made. You know, there's not really high quality there, and it winds up snapping off. And the arrowhead is now lodged inside of his chest with nothing to grab onto. And you hear the panic. Oh shit!
Give Grognar got. I use Mage Hand to try and reach, since it can reach into through cracks.
I got you. Sure.
I look at the man that's lying down. This might feel weird. Grognar apologizes.
As you begin to pull, it's lodging there pretty good. Mage Hand does have a weight limit, so you're trying to be ginger with it so it doesn't kind of pull through it. And as you continue to kind of just work it, this guy's, you see him struggling. The medics start to hold him down, like pinning his arms down. One individual is laying across both of his legs, like on a full supine, kind of like on the floor, face up scenario. They're kind of just holding him down. You hear him hollering and screaming. And eventually, the bloodied arrowhead slowly comes out, and it kind of floats with the Mage Hand.
I hold it in my hand. Grognar.
You see one of the medics, bandage, bandage, bandage!
I hand him one of the ones I just cleaned.
And he quickly stuffs the hole in the wadding, and he kind of puts it down. Antiseptic, give me the bottle over there. As people are just following commands, and he kind of douses it, and you start to see all the parts of the blood that's dribbled around start to foam up a little bit under the antiseptic. Thank you.
I go back to cleaning bandages.
Thank you. Let's just knock them out one at a time, right?
Grognar will help as much as he can. But, by the way, have I cast any of my healing yet? If not, then one of those healing spells that I would have healed the dwarves, I would cast on him, just to help stop the bleeding.
Absolutely, which stops the bleeding. In fact, a lot of the medics kind of stand up like, whoa, okay.
Grognar healer. He learned from his god. God help all people. Knowledge help all.
Well, let's do more, shall we? Come on.
I can heal 3 more, and then give 10 minutes, and I can heal 2 again.
All right, well, let's hop to it. All right, enough babbling. Let's get to it. And as you continue to heal, we'll leave you there for a minute. I got something for you in a little bit.
Hey.
We're gonna head over to Dillinger, who's been following Asher around. Is that right?
Yeah, I was waiting for Asher to come out initially, but I guess I missed the part where he said he came out because that was the part where I was going to have Tente give him the map.
Yeah, I haven't came out yet. I don't.
Okay,
think.
then let's take it there. As both of you guys are on floor 1, just coming down the stairwell where Grognar's been healing people and doing his Grognar stuffs. You head on down as you converse about this map. Once again, the scene itself, it's not hopeful. There seems to be a lot of severely injured here. It's almost like this place is for the really fucked up people, and all the overflow seems to be the lesser priorities.
Yeah. It's so, yeah. As he's like finishing up this map, Tente, I guess, kind of sees you coming down, and just, like, takes the map out of my hand, kind of scurries over to Asher, and, like, so as you see, like, the little ink blob thing come flying over a piece of paper, and she's like, kind of like shoving it halfway in front of Asher.
Asher will kind of cock his head and stick his hand out and take it from the ink thing and look at it, see that it's a map, a really well-drawn map, and look at Tente and say, thank you?
Tente would just kind of nod her head and just like scurry back towards Dillinger.
Yeah. And I'll make my way over to Dillinger. Your ink thing, Tente gave me this, and I'll hold up the map. Is this for me, or was it just excited?
I guess it can be yours. She got a little just excited. From you saying that you're a little bit bothered, I guess she wanted to kind of change how you thought of her.
So wait, it can understand?
She can understand common.
Oh shit. Wait, can
And
you
she
talk
kind
to
of like,
her?
I can talk to her, yeah. But
Does she talk back?
uh, uh, with that, I guess, yeah, yeah. So yeah, Dillinger Khan's like, well, not like me and you can.
Okay. I mean, I
Uh,
have a.
you'll usually I kind of get the gist of what she wants based off of if I'm having to clean up ink or not.
Okay. I understand that. Yeah. And
Yeah. As I say this, Tinte kind of goes and rest assured, just conveniently also exactly where like you had wiped the ink off earlier, just kind of sits right back there. It's
she
just
likes
lets
to
it
make a
go.
mess. Good job, Tente. And I'll wink at it. She's leaving just an ink
Yeah,
splotch on your shirt.
yeah, it's yeah, just like little ink splotch on like the leather and all that. And it's like you just have like this regular brown leather, and then like right about here, it looks like it just kind of turns to black leather from the ink.
I like it.
You hear bangs coming directly from outside like gunshots.
What the fuck? Let's go. Should we go? Let's go see what that is.
You make your way outside the doors. You kind of, with some sort of urgency, you kind of push your way through to see what's going on. Fireworks seem to radiate across your faces.
I don't think Asher's ever seen fireworks before.
Reds, yellows, greens.
I'm assuming that's celebration. Doesn't look.
Have you never seen the dwarven fires?
No. I mean, I've dealt with dwarves before, but never near Ladar. And this time, Asher's just watching the lights.
They're quite mesmerizing. You know what I mean? Especially
Yeah.
if it's the first time you've ever seen them, and they're almost like directly overhead. So you're literally like,
Yeah,
just
kind of
enjoying
like
the
a
show.
kid. First time, like a kid, like his first time at a 4th of July thing.
Yep. And the cool thing is that the way the city is built, you know, you have this canopy of a mountain, which naturally dims out direct sunlight from like this part of the city going back. So the fireworks are still quite potent in this area. And you just see the splash of light, just the greens kind of just radiate around buildings off your face. You know, it's amazing.
It's only like midday, isn't it? Because
Correct.
the attack at the gate happened at first thing in the morning.
Correct. I'm not saying it's dark outside. I'm just saying the light is not direct sunlight here.
Yeah, no, I was just asking that so I could kind of get the good mental image.
Yeah. The dwarves are currently embracing the saying it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Right.
Can you just imagine that like rocky ceiling
Yeah.
is so high that you can shoot fireworks up and it doesn't even get close to the ceiling?
Not even.
You just
close.
imagine that, like picture that
that's-
in your
that's why I
mind.
was asking the time of day so that way I could see that of like half the city's still in like sunlight and then the other half is just lit up by pyrotechnics.
Correct.
That's amazing.
Just that mental image, it just sounds so fucking cool.
Beats the hell out of the small town I'm from. As Asher kind of says that out loud to Dillinger, not really paying attention.
You would hear some younger dwarflings kind of oohs and ahs as well, and then the finale would come up here, and you pa 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 pa, and then a lot of the dwarves start to clap and cheer. You start hearing horns and stuff.
Asher's right there with them, like clapping. He's the whole like people after a movie in the theater just clapping. That was amazing.
What about you, Dillinger?
Yeah, Dillinger's kind of clapping as well and all stuff. He's enjoying the show.
And immediately afterwards, Asher's going to look at Dillinger. We need to find some of those because I could use. Those could be useful on a battlefield.
Price check fireworks.
Right?
Expensive as
but
fuck.
is.
Yeah. Imagine
Yes.
if I could attach one to an arrow.
As the price suddenly triples as Frog's generating it.
No, not at all. Not at all.
I mean, I'd say it's
He
like
says with
double
a
or
grin.
triple what gunpowder is.
So, what's the plan, guys? As it seems like the fireworks have ceased at this point, and the music seems to rise like these fireworks was the crescendo to the actual party. Boom, 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 boom. There's just dwarven music, horns, drums beating through the entire city street. The city's going fucking nuts. It's like Mardi Gras.
Asher does want to make. I want to make my way to the cathedral.
Absolutely. The roads are very much not full, but there's a crowd, and you'd have to both kind of like weave your way through. At one point, you kind of get bumped by somebody by accident.
Yeah.
Wait, I thought you came with me to the cathedral.
I wasn't sure if I came with you or if you went on ahead.
We'll
No,
flavor
I
it.
stayed.
It really does.
Okay.
The
All right,
specifics
all right.
don't really
Yeah.
matter. It's right.
It
We'll
does,
flavor it. Nevertheless,
Yeah.
someone Asher bumps into you.
I'll look over at them. Is it just like a dwarf party?
Oh,
pretty much.
sorry, my bad. Party.
You're good. Have fun, buddy.
What's
I'll-
your passive perception?
19?
Okay. As you feel a pressure on your belt line.
You broke up really bad. Do what?
You feel a pressure on your belt line as this individual bounced into you.
I immediately grab where I feel the pressure.
You grab at the pressure, and you grab individual's wrist. He goes, sorry, I was just partying.
Yeah, what were you trying to take?
Nothing. It was an accident.
I'm gonna hold his hand in like a wrist lock and look down. Do I notice anything missing? Or did I stop him before he grabbed
That's a
anything?
good question. Why don't you roll me an actual perception check this time? And because of your 19 passive,
11.
I want you to roll with advantage.
Sweet.
I mean, you are a aware individual, so
I only
I'm
rolled a
giving you.
12.
That's fine because I only rolled an 11. You don't notice anything in his hands, and it doesn't feel like he was able to kind of squeak into any pouches or anything like that. Ow! Dude!
I'm gonna twist his wrist a little bit. It's probably not smart to try and pickpocket.
Okay.
people who don't
I'm sorry. Okay, it's been a tense day. Just leave me alone. Just let me go.
Promise not to do it again.
Sure.
I'll let his wrist go.
And he kind of just starts to disappear into the crowd as he runs.
Fucking people. And then I am going to do an inventory of my shit. Not that I have much that can be stolen, but I'm going to do a quick inventory
Sure.
of all my shit.
You pat yourself down, you check real quick while walking, and nothing appears to be missing.
All right. I'll relay to Dillinger. I'm assuming you're with me, Dillinger, or did you stay back there?
Yeah. No, I'm following. It's like he's kind dude, the crowd is kind of like following me. His wings are kind of like crunched up and like folded up, kind of like tight to him.
Yeah.
As he's
I told you, well, watch your stuff. Apparently, we've got pickpockets about.
Dillinger kind of like, thanks for the heads up. And as he says this, as we're kind of weaving through the crowd, Tente's kind of like sitting there like zipping around herself, just like through the crowd.
I love the mental image of your little ink blot just going in front of us.
Yeah, it's doing that whole kind of like, woo, like, think of it like a dog in a crowd, how like it wants to like zip around a little bit, like around everyone. She's doing the same thing, but it's like just barely above, like for the dwarves it'd be like above their head height, but for us it'd be right around our head height. Like she's kind of doing like little zips here and there.
So
Awesome.
mini Spider-Man.
Awesome.
I had the mental image of while I had the guy's wrist, she's just over there giving him like the stink eye.
You guys find yourselves in the proximity of this cathedral. And it's once again, it's carved directly out of the stone from the mountain. So it's not like bricks that were built. It's like someone intentionally designed this pillar of stone and they chipped it away until it became a cathedral. The door is there. They're massive. Your standard kind of door entry. You have a couple of steps that get up, and you have what seems to be lightly wounded on either side of these steps. Basically,
You're
bandages.
fading in and out again, Frog.
Bandages, wounded. As you make, you're looking around. You hear a lot of commotion coming from the inside of the cathedral.
From the outside of it, are there like vestiges of different gods and stuff, or just for Helm?
So the outside itself, it seems to be predominantly Helm, right? But but it's not like overly Helm out here. There is imagery that shows different beams, each beam indicated by like a different shape or texture, representing beliefs. And they all seem to merge just above the door, as if this is your place to come.
It's very like polytheistic, but Helm is definitely like their main person.
Correct. Religion in Tal Rune is different.
Yeah.
Side note, Frog. Someone knocked my model into your little DM screen.
Okay, I will look for it at some point.
Yep.
Then I'm gonna let Dillinger know I'm gonna be going inside. He's welcome to join me. And as I go in, I'm gonna look for. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, this is the cathedral, right?
Yes.
You're in the front of the cathedral.
Yeah. Dillinger, I'll wait out here. Most people don't take kind to my folk in religious buildings.
Asher's gonna look over at him and be like, I can understand that your kind have some negative connotations put onto them, but the Wild Mother's pretty welcoming to all. And we're all her children. And
You make
you're welcome to join me.
You make your steps inside the cathedral, and as soon as you see in and your eyes, adjust to the dimmer light in here, you'll see Thalia, her back, walking into this door that's just to the... So if you're looking at Helm, this massive statue of Helm with this gauntlet to the sky, and then those beams are rigid, you know what I mean? And it seems to dissipate into different sections, and this cathedral seems to be broken down into, like, here's the fucking Red Knight section to pray, here's that place to pray, it's very much divided in that regard. But the Helm statue seems to connect them all together. The pews, however, are mismanaged right now. They're rearranged for, different using stuff. But you'll see Thalia walking and a door closing behind her to a room that's to the back left. Think of it as a rectory.
Okay. First, I'm going to look around to see if I see the wounded dwarf that I helped bring back.
Perception check, as there is quite a commotion in here. There are still injured here, and there are men of the cloth kind of tending to
18.
wounds. With an 18, you do see one individual that you find familiar, in particular the tourniquet on the leg, as his leg is kind of draped over one of the pew edges, and he's kind of still holding it. He's slightly rocking back and forth a little bit. He's not crying, but he does seem to still be in some degree of pain.
I'll walk over and kneel down or sit beside him, and how are you doing, my friend? I'll ask him in Dwarvish.
You put me through hell,
I told you it was going to hurt like a bitch, but hey, it's better than bleeding to death.
Yeah, I've had that thought too. I guess I should thank you.
I was just doing what I can to help. Just want to make sure you're all right.
Yeah, I mean, they say I might lose my leg. It depends on the rot.
Well, it's side effects of our jobs. I've gotten lucky. I haven't lost any limbs, but I've got some scars to show off. The chicks really dig the scars, by the way.
Yeah, but how are they going to feel about a one-legged dwarf?
You tell them about how you lost it at the Battle of the Gate, defending Mirladar.
What's
How you
a
fought.
dwarf? A dwarf with no legs is useless. How am I going to go into the mines? What am I going to do?
There's other things you can do.
Yeah,
You can
like
open
what?
a brewery. You can open a brewery, work at have a shop, an inn. Fucking take up, skipping.
That's no role for a future proud dwarf soldier. I was hoping to be a lieutenant one day.
I'll take another look at his leg. Is there anything I can do with like some healing to help with it?
I mean, the wound itself appears to be tended to, right?
Yeah.
Outside of the idea of magic, I mean, it's not bleeding. It's tied off. The leg itself looks purple.
Yeah.
And it looks in pretty rough shape, man. There's
Did
dried
they-
blood all around it.
Did they reset the bone?
The bone does not seem to be sticking out, but the puncture where the bone came out of his knee, or in the area of his knee, it's very much a gaping situation. There's some gauze around it that it's not soaked up anymore as the bleeding has stopped, but it's pretty bad.
Well, I'm gonna see what I can do to help you, and I'm going to pump a 2nd level cure wounds into his leg.
Sure. That works out. Why don't you roll that for me?
10 healing.
Why don't you explain to me how you're doing this?
So I'm gonna look at his leg, and I'm gonna tell him, this won't hurt as much, and I'm gonna peel back some of the gauze and set my hand just above it, and like a foresty green light starts to emanate, and the dwarf would feel for just an instant like he's out in the like he's out in the woods and feels the sun on his face, and like the calm that can be out when we're just alone in the woods, and feel like a warming sensation in his leg as it heals.
You see a slight smile kind of rip over his face briefly, but he also still winces a little bit as it is an injury. And
Yeah.
he feels soothed for but a moment. And as you're doing this to him, you peer down at his exposed flesh on his leg, and although the wound doesn't close, he still very much has a wound, but you see the purple in his leg seems to kind of come back to more of a healthier look. I'm not going to say it's not purple anymore, but it definitely looks like it's taken the edge off, or perhaps done something to him.
And then I'll just pat him on the shoulder and say, it's the best I could do, but hopefully it's something.
Is that magic?
I have the Wild Mother has granted me some magic to help protect the lands.
The Wild Mother. I haven't heard of this individual.
Her actual name is Melora, but everybody calls her the Wild Mother.
Is she pretty?
She's gorgeous, but like in a motherly sense.
Where can I meet her?
Anywhere there's nature. She is the creation. She's the goddess of creation, of nature, of everything around us.
Even the rock?
That's part of nature, yeah. She's created all of it. And it's in its wildest forms. That's where she's at.
It's weird.
And,
I was raised to believe in strength, iron, stone. The ways of Helm, which you speak of, seems to be the complete opposite, softer side.
well, she can... you ever had your mom pissed off at you?
One day, my mother broke a broomstick over my head.
Well, the Wild Mother is called the Wild Mother for a reason. She can be loving and tendering and tender like your mother whenever, you're not feeling well, but she can also be wrathful when you corrupt her nature.
So what you're saying is she should be called the goddess of broomsticks, as he kind of laughs a little bit.
I'll laugh with him. Well, Sometimes.
You know, you've done so much for me, and I feel a lot better. Still hurts a little bit, but I don't feel my heartbeat in my leg anymore. What's your name?
My name is Asher Edelwolf. What's your name, my friend?
Shouldn't have done it, Frank.
You did that to yourself.
I know.
You know that, right?
It's funny. As I walked into it, I'm like, no.
I figured you already had a name ready.
I'm surprised that he doesn't have like a
Like a
name
name
generator just
generator.
right
I
there,
do.
ready
I'm
to,
staring
ready to
at
call
one.
upon.
My folks named me Amim after my great-great-grandfather.
Well, Mim, it's a pleasure to meet you, and it was an honor fighting with you on the wall.
Thank you. Maybe one day I'll
We'll be back later to visit you.
Maybe I'll be a mighty lieutenant one day, and I'll be able to return the favor.
Well, I appreciate it. Well, you'll live a lot longer than I will, so maybe you return the favor to my kids someday, if I have any.
You have my word.
And I'll, do the little salute with the fist to my chest. Thank you, my friend. Now rest up, heal up, and live on to be great.
Don't worry, Grognar. Asher will recognize you as his son one day.
All right, so
and this is now where we all jot down his name with Lieutenant next to it to check in with him later on, just to mess with Frog.
Oh yeah, definitely. When we're level like 15.
So-
He jots something down.
yeah, it says kill Asher. No.
It's every session.
So, at this point, you guys have about 2 hours to burn. So, in game 2 hours, I know that Dillinger is out. So why don't you tell me a synopsis of what you do for the next 2 hour, Dillinger, as you see Asher walk into the cathedral, and you are left practically alone, not alone in the streets, but as far as your party is concerned, you're solo in the streets as a party around you seems to be echoing around.
He'll start to wander around trying to find the tavern, or a tavern, I should say.
Sure, let's take you right there then. You're at the tavern at this point, the Scorched Beard, so aptly named, and the first thing you see is Reen sitting at a table, finishing up a flagon of ale.
Yep. He'll kind of go over and take a seat next to Reen. Reen's downing the ale. And all stuff. And he go kind of take a seat next to Reen and go, so this is where you went to?
Yeah. It's seems to be the place to be.
Hey, during a celebration, the tavern's definitely a place to be. And all stuff. I guess about this time he'll kind of look around for the bar wrench to see if she's nearby or whatnot.
She
to
is.
do an order.
You call her over, and she greets you. Oh, hey, honey. Is it the usual for you then?
Sorry, I was just not expecting that. He'll kind of look and goes like, "Hey, just the usual."
Absolutely, coming right up. I don't know what your usual is, but she plops it
Yeah, I
in
know.
front of you after about 10 minutes.
Yeah, that works. Sure.
Absolutely. Reen, you look over. He orders the usual. What you would see, Dillinger, is a little bruise forming on the side of Reen's, just below the cheek on the jawline.
Can you repeat that?
You have a bruise where you got punched.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Dillinger would make reference to it.
Well, yeah, it hurts a bit, but should be gone by tomorrow.
What the hell happened to you? That looks brand new.
Yeah, well, apparently that's what you gotta do to get a free drink, so cheers.
Oh no, you don't tell me you started playing the games.
Nah, I didn't play the game, I just got the drink. But apparently this comes with it.
No sooner than you say the term games and the food that you order and the drink that you order slams in front of you, Dillinger, you hear kind of a hooray coming from the far corner as you see this pig held overhead and it's squealing. As it's squealing, you hear the dwarf carrying it. It's time for the slippery pig event! The bartender excitedly shouts, "All right!" and he pulls out this massive tub of this thick, creamy-like liquid. This big, thick, creamy-like liquid. And begins to explain about the slippery pig event. He who catches the pig gets the pig's jewels. And the dwarf will dump this pig in the grease. May the games begin! And he throws the pig on the floor. And the pig starts squealing around and people getting knocked over. You see people diving for this pig. One person, I got it! And it kind of pops out and he falls to the floor. Another one takes a punch to the face, gets pushed to the side. One of the bar wenches that are carrying a tray of drinks gets spilled over as she's bumped into. Fucking chaos.
How tall, or out of curiosity, just how, like, is this like a dwarf-sized tavern, or is like an actual like regular-sized tavern?
Dwarves build in excess. They may be small creatures, but they know how to show.
I just, that's what I was want to check.
Absolutely.
So as all hell starts to break loose, Dillinger just kind of like grab his ale and then just kind of like his wings kind of come up as he just kind of like goes up like just high enough to where he doesn't get hit by anything, and just kind of watches all the hell break loose under him, enjoying the drink.
Absolutely. Reen, the pig seems to take refuge under your chair.
I'm gonna try and grab it.
Sure. 1 second. Roll me an attack, but a barehanded attack to represent you trying to grab it. Yeah, an unarmed attack.
Oh, barehanded. That's a strength.
Unarmed and strong.
Isn't it just a grapple check?
So I would like you to roll an attack, please.
Okay.
I don't know how to roll a barehanded attack.
It's just an unarmed attack, so it'll be your dice roll plus your strength proficiency. And proficiency, right? Yeah, because you're proficient when unarmed.
So the strength and a roll?
Strength, proficiency, plus your roll.
You have bare hands? That's cool.
I am lost on the strength, proficiency, and roll.
Roll 1d20 plus your proficiency bonus plus your strength bonus. What's your proficiency bonus?
Should be 3 now.
Okay.
Proficiency in unarmed fighting?
Fate, follow me here. Roll a d20 flat. What do you got?
13.
13. Plus 3, because of your proficiency. What's your strength bonus?
8. Or 5.
You have a plus 5. What's your strength?
20.
All right, so 13 plus 5 plus 3. So 18, 21, right? You snatch this pig clear from below your chair. Now roll me an athletics check or a acrobatics check as well.
Give me that.
What'd you roll? Because I'm not looking at that screen right now.
Oh, I crit. 28.
The pig slips a little bit out, but you kind of re-grab it and you take your shirt and kind of wrap it around it. You see like 2 or 3 dwarves heading in your direction with clear intentions to grab the pig.
I'm going to... one of them's going to get the boot in the face.
As you place your foot up, it kind of knocks back one of the dwarves, but 2 others are still trying to grab you as they have their hands on the pig.
Who's my team member with me right now?
Dillinger.
Dillinger, a hand, please. As I'm kind of shove him off the pig.
Yeah. Crap, because you're below me right now. Is there like a spot, like, or is it all crowded around him?
The whole bar is crowded.
Okay, yeah. Dillinger, I guess, is going to. Do I have anything I can even like just use to help out here? No, I do not. Yeah. So, yeah, Dillinger's going to kind of look down. It's like, you're on your own on this one. As he's kind of laughs and takes a drink of the ale, as he's just like staying out. He's just waiting for shit to calm down before he sits back down. Yeah, that's
fair enough. As these two dwarves attempt, one of them kind of slips onto the grease that's on the pig and kind of loses balance and collides into the table. The table flips up, so whatever you're eating or whatever's on the table flips upside down with a large crash. The other dwarf trying to grab the pig, oh my god, also fucking trips over something on the floor, eats shit. And there you stand. Pig in hand, squealing.
I'm gonna claim victory.
As you raise the pig over your head, the rest of the bar hollers, "To the pig catcher!"
Yay!
Yeah.
And as the bartender stands up on the bar top, "A reward to the pig catcher, as promised. A statue made of solid gold." As he kind of, at his pocket, pulls out this little golden figurine. It's about the size of a G.I. Joe.
Nice.
As he throws it across, give me a sleight of hand.
9.
With a 9, your fingers greased up from the pig as the idol slips out of your hands and onto the floor. Clink, 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 clink.
I'm gonna pick it up.
You pick it up, and as you look at it, you see what looks to be a mighty figurine of a dwarf. This dwarf holding a shield and hammer into the sky. Everyone cheers. You don't recognize the figure on this figurine.
Gonna hold it up and cheer with everybody and celebrate.
100%. And as time passes, guys, Grognar, and I'm going to do a little bit of slight railroading here. Everyone would hear out of the blowhorn, "And to respect our dead, 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 a sermon will be given at the cathedral. Everyone, make your way. Everyone has 15 minutes. And the music dies down. And the fireworks stop. Everyone in the bar that's at the bar right now would see everyone start to clean themselves up a little bit. You see everyone that's in the streets would see children going in and grabbing little relics or whatever symbol would represent for them. Grognar, you hearing the announcement, as you're the closest one. This thing's fucking loud as balls. It's, you start to see the medics, look at you. And you're free to go. Thank you for your help. I think you've done all you can do. I'm assuming. Oh, go ahead.
Grognar shall listen to sermon. Must be good thing if you allow me to go. Maybe help learn to heal more.
Kane.
Yes.
I kept you a low profile because you done fucked up. You're beyond ripped as ripped can be. Although you're still coherent in conscious, things are blurry to you, man. Your hearing ain't so good to begin with. Now you're adding some pretty potent shit on top of that. You hear this loud booming voice going across the entire city, but for you it's like
Uh-huh.
what do you wish to do about it?
How drunk am I?
Roll a con save. Disadvantage. Has it been about 2 hours, so I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt. Yeah, you're fucked. In fact, one side note, as you turn to the bar, slightly coherent, you look at the bar and everything quiets down, almost like things are just fading away. Your vision gets slightly dimmer because you're just so drunk, and it's just like, do I want to pass out? No, and you're fighting it. You're fighting the pass out. You're like, And you look at the table, and you see an ear.
No.
Mm-hmm.
As you continue to stare at this ear, what do you wish to do about it?
Pick it up.
The closer your hand gets to it, it looks like it's starting to shrivel, as if it's a dead ear, and you're watching the decomposition of it happen rapidly the closer you get to it.
Oh, that's fun.
I look around the bar. What do I see?
The entire room, there's a bunch of dwarfs and Holy Empire allied races. They're just standing up and facing in your direction like statues.
Is there anything besides the whole bar just staring, looking at me? Is there anything out of notice? It's like, is there anyone that doesn't look like they shouldn't be there?
You're welcome to roll me a hell of a disadvantage perception check.
Yeah.
You just see the blank expression faces of everyone that was in the bar. You even see Reen standing up and just staring at you. You see Dillinger just standing up and staring at you as if they were statues.
It's gonna be like that. I haven't forgotten. You'll get what's coming to you.
As you say that, it almost seems like someone pressed play on the movie, and the bar returns to normal. You look down where the shriveled ear was, and you just see your mug of ale that you were nursing in your drunken stupor.
Though with not as much mirth as he was before, he does start drinking again.
Con save, disadvantage.
Yep.
You slam it down in its entirety. An individual with a black hat next to you watches you slam this down. Ha! Game on! Boom! And all you see is blackness.
Yep.
Now, everyone else. Reen, are you making your way to the cathedral, or are you chilling at the bar?
I'm gonna go watch what's going on.
You make your way to the cathedral with interest. You pass by a couple of those elves that you had witnessed earlier. There seems to be a different group of them, but they seem to kind of be doing their own sort of things. It looks like some of them may be meditating. Another one seems to be unwrapping this green leaf bundle with some sort of maybe food or something in it. You continue to walk by. You make yourself to the cathedral. So as you wrap around the road that makes its way to the cathedral, you start to see dwarves and allied races alike kind of making not organized rows, but they seem to be very civilized, right? As they seem to like make room as if they were at a concert, but they're not mosh pitting or anything like that. They're waiting for the show to start, essentially.
Yeah, I'm just gonna try and get a good spot to see what's going on.
You actually find you're able to kind of wiggle your way into the side of the steps, and there's actually a wall there that you can easily lean onto if you wish.
Perfect. We're gonna lean against it and wait for Thalia to screw this up.
Fantastic! Look at Thalia's face right now. It's great. So, Grognar, you make your way up. You see Reen kind of wiggling his way up as you would have almost bumped into him on the street. There's a gathering. There's still an inside as well. But, you know, you're more than welcome to tell me where you're standing during this.
Do I see Thalia?
Not yet. She's probably having an anxiety attack in the back.
I stand as close to the podium as I can.
Sure.
Like, on the ground.
You attempt to make your way in there. The crowd is clearly like front row seats are hard to get, especially when the crowd's already there. You find yourself struggling and pushing. Why don't you give me a acrobatics check to see how well you wiggle through the crowd?
Okay.
With a 14, you actually get into the main gates, the main cathedral doors, but it's fucking packed, and there seems to be a lot of official clergymen kind of in a semicircle. Good night, buddy. I love you. Like in a semicircle around, and they seem to be chanting ritualistically. You also see, as they have their palms up as well, you start to see lights kind of just rising to the top of the cathedral, which seems to highlight the different sects of pantheons, you know what I mean, of gods. Unfortunately, you weren't able to squeeze your way to the front, but you got a spot that's fairly close. You'll be able to see the sweat on Thalia's brow.
I pull out my tome that I get from my pact feature, and as I write into what I'm seeing, it kind of like disappears at half the speed I can write.
Okay.
And then reuse the page.
Fantastic. Fucking beautiful, man. And yeah, you absolutely do so. It's tight, so you're going to hold the book like this, but you're able to kind of like, you know, do one of these
I'm
things.
6'5". I think if it's mostly dwarves, I can somewhat have armor.
I mean, even still, it's mixed races here. But yeah, you absolutely do so. One of the dwarves said, move over just a little bit, please. I guess you do so. That's fair. Kane, you're passed out. We did Asher. You know, you were talking to this kid before the festivities, and as you hear the horn saying, all right, everybody, you know, sermon time, the child will be like, oh, I guess this means I have to stand up.
You'll give me a moment. I'll help you. I have another patient to tend to, and I'm going to try and take care of the cat since I haven't had a chance to do that yet. I give it some. I don't remember if I took the butter and cream with me or not, because I kind of meant to do that. Then we went into combat, but I know I have my water with me.
So you did take the butter and cream with you. You put it into a canister or like a little thing for you.
Okay,
I did take.
All right, so I'm going to find a spot and try and feed the cat again with the butter and cream.
Roll a flat d20, please.
Okay, so not animal handling.
We're getting to that. Just roll your d20, please.
Alrighty, 20.
Nice. Roll your animal handling.
Hopefully another
the cat
20.
is still alive.
Fucking shit, a 5. Damn it.
The cat.
As you go to, you know, it's in the container, right? And you attempt to, you know, feed the cat in your sort of way. The cat kind of bats a little bit out of your hand, and it just incidentally slips a little bit. And although it hits the floor, a little bit of the butter spills out onto the floor. Not all of it, just enough to annoy you. But you're able to grab it up, and you kind of force feed the cat a little bit, who seems to be receiving this and showing a little bit more pep in its step.
Okay. And once that's taken care of,
what's that?
Oh, is this what's the kid's name again? What was it? I need to write it down.
I have it written down. I just gotta go to the tab. One sec. Amim.
We broke up. What?
Amim. A-M-I-M. Did you hear that?
Gotcha. I was writing it down this time. Amim. It's a funny story. It's a saber-toothed tiger kitten cub that found.
Are you a beast master? Did the wild mother give it to you?
No, sadly, we got into a scuffle.
Are you part of the circus?
No, we got into a fight with its parents. I do have the ability to talk with animals, but sadly I wasn't able to talk our way out of that one, and we had to slay its parents.
Oh.
But I haven't had the best of luck at saving things lately, and I just wanted to save something. So I was able to. I'm trying to keep this cat alive.
I mean, that's great, but what happens when it gets bigger? Doesn't it get big teeth?
Thankfully, I can talk with it, and I'm going to try and train it to at least not be an asshole.
Well, sounds a little scary to me. I have a hard time with little small cats, let alone big ones.
Well, right now he's not too big, and I'll show him the cat. And if it survives, this is the cat. His name's Jaeger for now. If he lives, which is German for hunter.
Fantastic. And, did you just pick Jaeger out of character? Jaeger randomly?
No, I've always liked the name Jaeger for a pet. Because one, I think it sounds awesome, and it's German for hunter, and I like Jägermeister.
I was just curious because we actually had a player named Jaeger at one of our tables. That's all.
Oh, nice, nice. Yeah, but no, it's the traditional German spelling, like on Jägermeister.
Gotcha.
That'd be the name of it. His name's Jaeger.
So the child is gonna here. Can I help me? I gotta get out of here because. Yeah. And you kind of help him up. The pew kind of slides a little bit under the weight of everything that you're doing right now, but you're able to kind of prop him up, his arms over your shoulder. He's awfully short, so you're gonna have to kind of lean over for it, or you're gonna undercarry him with the arm. That's fine too. Yeah. Where do you want to take him as you start to see clergymen start to kind of really gather in this area?
I'm gonna try and find a spot that would be out of the way, and somewhere I can kind of help prop him up with, or at least have him sit down or something where he'd still be able to see, but where we're not like getting pushed around by the rest of the crowd. So kind of off to one of the sides or something.
Understood. As you kind of get to the side, after about 5-10 minutes, you start to see this place really fill up. You would see Grognar pushing his way through the crowd as he seems to tower over most here. He would look to the left and acknowledge you and kind of see you in the corner as you see him kind of pushing, and then you see him kind of riding. He waves to you in a very of mice and men sort of way.
Yeah, and I'll wave back, and if I start seeing the party members from where I'm at, if I can, or whichever ones I do see, I'll start pointing them out to Mim and telling them who they are and that they're my friends and stuff.
Fantastic, Dillinger. Are you attending this gathering?
Yeah, I'll go to the gathering.
Okay. I assume you don't want to go in, but you'll stay on the outside. I'm assuming.
Yeah, he'll kind of like stand on the outside in the crowd, but not just like necessarily go inside.
Fantastic. And after about 5 minutes of waiting, you start to hear Rary comes up at the altar in front of the giant statue with the doors wide open. The people on the outside can see her. Itty bitty dwarf. My
Thalia.
my fellow Milidarians,
We're getting a call.
the past few days, we have seen death. We have seen destruction. We have seen hardships and pain. But in true dwarf form, we will maintain course and rebuild. Rock can be rehewn. Stone can be crushed and cemented down. The water will not erode the foundations of this city. We represent the brave. Under Helm's guidance, we will hold strong. We will eliminate with the light of justice, with the compassion of the light, with the life energy of all that is holy. Today I come to you humbled, as we've just been made aware of Helm's latest prodigy. Helm has selected someone to be the carrier of his eye, the all-seer. She is here today to give us guidance, to give us hope, to bring us peace. She is a courageous creature. I've had the luxury of speaking with her earlier today. Not only does she represent the light, not only does she represent the good in humanity, but the good of Mirladar. And it will be forever be known. Her name will echo through the halls of legend as she lays waste to our enemies and the smite of evil. Let it be known that she was chosen right here, under our very feet, the stone that have carried our generations for centuries, and the whole church, yeah, they start to clap. The lights begin to flicker in the ceiling, and they kind of radiate around with the energy and the excitement. I have for you now our hope of pushing back whatever evils beseech us. Her name, may it stay in your minds. May it be spoken at your tables for weeks and years and perhaps centuries to come. May your children know of her deeds that have yet to be done. Thalia Rune. Everyone starts to clap.
You got this, pretty lady.
Yeah, Asher from the side just yells out, "Go Thalia, you got this, sister!"
Thalia, do you come out of the back room?
I was hoping he was just completely gone.
It's like, so by the way, Frog.
Maybe we can back it up a little bit to like minutes before I'm called out.
Sure, we could retcon. So as her speech is going on, what is Thalia doing?
Can I get like some... I don't know what the fuck... I'm not going to be able to roleplay something like actually. I'm not that good.
Sure you are. I've seen you do great.
No. But I would love to roll for divine inspiration if I could. And
Okay.
maybe my forgiving DM will help me out a little bit.
I'll tell you what. Let's have some fun and we'll see where it goes. So, you want to roll for divine inspiration? Exactly
Yeah.
what you mean. Like, I know what you mean, but how are you praying this manifests?
I am just like I'm sitting on the floor in that rectory. And I am like I'm sweating. I'm panicking. I'm shivering. But I'm trying really, really hard to just ask the Red Knight or Helm or whoever to give me some strength and to help me find the words to use, or perhaps to speak through me instead of me directly so that I don't have to do it.
Okay. Do you have an inspiration die?
No.
Okay. Roll me a straight religion check.
Okay. Hey, that's pretty good.
Okay. Now what do you want to do?
We'll go out, I guess, once she calls on me.
Thalia! Tal Rune!
Woo! You got this.
As the
Will
door
you do this
opens
to me?
up, and the first thing you would see is clergymen kind of creating the front row, in a semicircle around in front of they're below the steps, there's a couple steps.
I'm in my fucking tube top armor. Oh my god.
You see everyone around. In plain sight, you would see Grognar, who's halfway across the room. He's a fucking tall orc amongst dwarves, so yeah, you can see him. And you see him kind of jotting down and writing stuff, and whatnot, doing Grognar things. There's an arm that you see like someone like this, but a tall Asher kind of holding a young dwarf up by the arm, keeping pressure off of something. You see through the cathedral doors people. People. You take your first couple steps out of the room, and everything goes silent as the crowd is all listening. As Rennie looks over to you, Thalia, please share with us what the mighty Helm has told you.
I walk up.
Please come here. Use the amplifier so everyone can hear you. As she kind of conjures this little orb in front of you, which acts as a projector for voices.
You're an asshole, Frog.
I know.
Chill.
I walk up and she's trying her best to remain very dignified, maintain posture, trying to stave off the almost unbearable embarrassment that she's feeling. She goes and stands in the middle. And she kind of starts off in a very timid voice.
Okay.
Clearly not a practiced speaker.
Most warriors aren't.
And she begins to deliver her divinely inspired speech.
Sure, what words were used?
Today, the loss of life has been great. Many of you might not even know if family members or loved ones have been killed. It's important to not lose sight of the people who maintain our freedoms amongst the revelry. I hope to serve all of you the way that you deserve to be served, and to protect all of the citizens of the Holy Empire with my sword, no matter what the adversary is. Let us all share in a moment of silence for those who have died before us, to keep us all safe.
Everyone bows their heads. About a minute has passed.
You're
doing great, man. Keep it up.
I kind of scan the crowd. I'm still wearing my helmet. Like, I'm not. Yeah. You can see me though, scan the crowd and see all of the people that managed to be saved. And she says, I look out and see all of you, and it makes me proud to know that the people of the world are willing to fight for their freedoms. And I'm proud to serve as a knight errant amongst this country and amongst this city. And she kind of bows her head and kind of takes a step back, looking towards, what's her name, Rary?
Yeah. Rary, I believe I said her name was.
Yeah.
As you acknowledge, by the way, awesome. As you acknowledge Rary, Rary begins to chant in a divine language. And as soon as she hits the key phrase, you hear like the equivalent of their Amen. And as you hear this, with your religion check of 18, you see the glove on Helm's gauntlet begin to kind of light cantrip a little bit, and the light would travel up to the ceiling, and it follows the patterning to one side of the cathedral, and it seems to follow that streak that heads over to the Red Knight section, and that section begins to glow a hue of red. Not an insane amount, but enough that everyone kind of goes and they look at you. And they just are speechless. And that's where we're going to end tonight's session.
Awesome.
Oh my god.
That was fucking great, dude. You kicked ass.
Listen,
You did it, man.
Thalia,
That was real life fucking stressful.
listen, man.
I want you to know that.
I don't think you realize how well you did, and that was wonderful. You should give
I
yourself a
feel
little bit
inspired.
more. Give yourself a little bit more credit. That was great.
Don't make me do that.
Full-heartedly agree.
He said, "Don't make me do that again."
You got me ready to go storm some walls, and I'm fat as shit.
So, obviously, a very RP heavy session, guys, but you guys deserve the day of downtime. So absolutely, I loved our RP today. I loved our story arcs. I thought it was great. Good character development. We had a little wink from Kane's perspective, which was interesting. We got some interesting characters going on. I'm eager to see where it goes from here. Let me kill the stream. We'll do our